Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lodge, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of Common Sense. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party, guys. That is the best part. So make sure you're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. If you'd like to support the channel, head on over to TheIndianJesus.com for your very own official merch. We got shirts, we got stickers, all good stuff at TheIndianJesus.com. Guys, we do also have a Discord server. It's like a giant group chat 24/7. We are in there hanging out, having a good time. It is a great place to meet people and have interesting conversations. And like I said, it's absolutely free to join. We've got our free chat right there. The link is pinned at the top of the chat and in the description. However, if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, you can scroll right below the video, hit that join button. There's a few different tiers here, but it starts at just $2.99. Gets you members only live streams here on YouTube, all that other good stuff. But it also opens up the full Discord server. So you get the free chat, you get a bunch of other stuff, including the after party voice channel. So as soon as we are done here on YouTube, we are headed over there. We don't got to worry about any YouTube censors, and you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. It is a good time. Definitely come and join us. And joining us now, we got the Overlord, aka Morty. And of course, every donation comes with a treat for him. All right. So we are heading back just about a week when Luke Beasley, the David Pakman wannabe, for some reason decided it would be a good idea to go back on the culture war. And this time it wasn't just him and Tim. There was Andrew Wilson, which he seems to be popping up everywhere, and good old Myron Gaines of the Fresh and Fit podcast, and it does not go well for them. So let's dive in. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know. Definitely still
during the office as the president. The inauguration will be on Monday, so let's take this opportunity to debate Joe Biden's legacy, Donald Trump's legacy, and we have an eclectic bunch with us who are going to give their ideas on whether or not, I don't know, Trump's a fascist or women should even be voting in the first place. So you can tell it's going to get wild in this room. Why don't we start with you, Myron?
One half of the Fresh Fit podcast. Happy to be here. I also run my own political talk show, Myron Gaines X, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Fresh Fit after that. And yeah, let's get into it. Happy to be here, man.
Luke Beasley, liberal political commentator. You can find me on YouTube at Luke Beasley. Pumped. Good to be back. Tim, Myron, Andrew. Nice to meet y'all.
Yeah, my name is Andrew Wilson. I'm the host of The Crucible. It's a popular entertainment channel on YouTube. Political analyst, political satirist, and blood sport debater. Happy to be here. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, Jessiah with Pondering Politics, liberal commentator. Looking forward to this conversation because this is like some of the biggest MAGA influencers I've ever encountered, and I'm looking forward to understanding a bit more.
That already is telling. Because, I mean, yeah, okay, Tim is definitely a MAGA influencer, but Andrew's not really a MAGA influencer. He's more of a Christian guy. And then Myron is, you know, a red pill guy. So the fact that you haven't talked to anybody like that already is not voting well.
Well, let's get started with the simple question. Is Trump a fascist? I know it sounds a bit generic, but this is the big talking point that kind of persisted for the past 10 years. Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. He's authoritarian. He's far right. He's fascistic, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know who wants to start off first, but Luke, is he a fascist?
Yeah. Shout out to Bumblebee Tuna. Said, are Indians genetically originally closer to Caucasoids or Australioids? I don't know. I'm American, baby. But welcome to the party.
You know, we can debate that particular label. I've noticed when I've watched past debates among MAGA folks, the benefit, or at least what they seem to thrive off of, is getting real into the weeds on a particular semantic debate. That's less relevant to me than going through the specifics of why I might call him that, but not less.
Okay, so that is a very, very fair analysis right there. We know all the time. That's what we talk about with Andrew Wilson, is that his thing is to get super deep into the semantics so that the substance is never talked about. So shout out to Luke. I mean, I'm willing to give him his points when he has them. And it was very smart to preempt this and be like, okay, look, before we go on, this is what I have to say. So that's not a cope. So smart. I mean, it's a pre-cope by a little bit, but it's also on point. Shout out to Carl's Frosted Tips. Welcome to the party. Thank you so very much for the $1.99. said, take off your hat, Tim. You can't always be cold. I disagree. I am always cold, but I have longer hair, so it helps. So I got my hat right here. So I mean, I don't know. If you're bald, it might be. It might be. Either way, thank you so very, very much, sir. Oh no, did I mess up the goal? Fudgesicles. I messed up the goal. All right. Well, give me a second. I'll mess with that. Welcome, and that will count.
Romantic debate. That's less relevant to me than going through the specifics of why I might call him that. But let's not get so focused on the label, but instead whether or not we find moral, whether or not we find.
Let's get focused on the label. So listen, here's why.
So again, as Luke's calling it out, he's like, no, that's exactly what I want to do.
You can't defend.
Well,
first of all, my point though. You can't defend. Well, hold on. I'm gonna finish this. You can't defend what he does. So then you try to distract from that with just really abstract
from your
label
lies
discussions.
Yeah, from your lies.
What he's done or lies?
So
you
can't.
No. So first of all,
defend what he actually
hang on,
did,
Luke. Semantics are super important to a debate for a reason. It's so that we have clarity in what we're actually talking about. So when you go, Trump's a fascist, yeah, it's very important that you clarify exactly what that means, why it means that, what the historic standard is that you're providing against.
But I'm saying that.
All right. So really quick, I did readjust the goal. Usually we have the teal and the teal and up, and I made it the or the blue and up, and I made it the teal and up by mistake. So if we hit 9, I'm on the floor for the swole goal. If you know what I'm talking about, hit at the top of the chat. We got our goal right there. Thank you, sir. Let's do this.
Debate is an interesting one. I've had it a bunch of times. Less relevant than whether or not you can defend the things he did factually, not the labels, the facts of what he did.
Why are you calling him a fascist then, Luke? If you're not prepared to defend it.
Tim brought that up. I'm interested in.
Well, it's so.
And there is the problem with trying to do that. Is if you wanted to get away from this label of fascist, then you should not have been using it over and over and over and over and over, and only just now when you're in the room with somebody who's actually going to challenge you on it, then you're like, well, I mean, the words don't really matter, That's the part that I don't like about it.
Call him that, Luke. Why do you call him that unless you can defend it?
He is called in the media a fascist over and over and over again for 10 years.
And
he calls him that.
My question is, most importantly, then we can get to that. Can you defend the things that we point to as a threat to democracy, as anti-democratic, whatever label you use? I just don't care about
getting
that. Can you defend
that he's a fascist or not, Luke?
I absolutely have had that discussion a bunch of times.
That's not what I asked you. Can you repeat my question? I asked you, can you defend that he's a fascist?
We would point out things that we might describe as authoritarian or fascistic, even if you don't agree with a particular label. And that's
there you go. And that's all it needs to be. Like, look, and Luke tried it, but he's just that whole say it with your chest. Like, he's just so weak in what he says that Andrew just steamrolled him. It's like, yes, I'm sure we could argue over whether or not it's actually fascistic. What we actually want to see is, do we like these things or do we not like these things? And that's what we're really talking about.
That's what he's saying we want to talk about. So, for example, did he plot to overturn the 2020 election? Did he resist the peaceful transfer of power? Does he command a cult of personality? These are factual questions.
Does he threaten the media? So
right. Hey, shout out to Dixon Sutter. Welcome to the party. Another $2. Thank you. And of course, since I messed up the goal, that means 8 more. And I'm on the floor. So, oh man, we are winning so much these days with no signs of slowing down. Welcome to the party, sir. Very good to see you. We also got our boy King Nirvana in the building. What is good?
This is not, I'm not going to make a whataboutism. I'm going to say, okay, let's start from that presumption that would make Trump a fascist. That would also make Obama or Biden or Kamala much the same.
Which we can discuss, which is false.
Why would you do that, though? Why would you do that, Luke? Give that. You know how we will talk about places where the person in the debate will be like, all right, I'll give you that. And when it's not even true, like, okay, even if that were true, let's say that were true, and then they still make their argument, it's because that wouldn't harm their argument. And so for Luke to concede, Clinton and Biden and Obama, they would all be fascists as well. Like, that doesn't matter anymore in terms of the actual debate. What you're trying to do is stick the fascist label on Trump. So if you have to go and throw Obama under the bus for it, why wouldn't you?
That would also make Obama or Biden or Kamala much the same.
Which we can discuss, which is false.
What you just described as Donald Trump would apply to them in
a similar way. Fraudulent states of
election. When have they ever resisted the peaceful transfer of power or plotted to overturn an election?
They said they would.
Believe this was the first election in 52 years. The Democratic Party has not challenged the election.
No, you're talking about the thing that is within congressional rules, which is you can object to the account. That's different than
Different than
dimbling
what?
from different states, people who aren't the lawful electors, and then trying to get them counted by your vice president as the real one.
Right.
Coping hard. Shout out to Michael. Welcome to the party. So maybe because if everyone's a racist, no one is. That's how words work. That is indeed how words work. Welcome to a fascist or a racist. Yep, either way, when you overuse a word, it means nothing. Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome. This child again. Oh yes, we are in for it. Happy Friday. We are in for it. Welcome to the party, guys. Don't even got to ask you. Already hit the like button. Thank you so very much. I love you guys.
Completely different.
But that is
One-
also a procedure.
So one is a nope. You
No,
can't
fake
just
electors
get
are a
random
procedure,
people
yeah.
to sign fake forms saying they're the
They're not
real
fake
electors.
forms.
They were.
They're not fake forms.
You know why the people were
What do you think
prosecuted
we mean by
in
fake
7
forms? Like
states?
we obviously
Right.
it's
So
not
you need to
invisible
define
piece.
what a fake form is.
We don't mean by an invisible piece of paper. It was a fraudulent document.
Wait, that's
Yeah.
semantics, Tim.
Yeah.
Like I
Right.
said, very
Right,
important
so,
to debates.
Because you
historical
can't talk
precedent-
We don't want to spend
core of it.
45 minutes on what's
We'll
a
go-
fake form.
All
We
right,
would
so,
just
so,
yeah.
the issue here is
Which again is why when I talk about debates, having a very, very specific question and a narrow scope of what are we talking about is very important, because is Donald Trump a fascist? It's just too broad. You could take that in 7 million different directions and never get anywhere.
we're talking about a play upon
Oh,
precedent.
hold up. I forgot to hit you guys as the sponsors of the stream. Shout out to Carl and Dixon, co-sponsors of the stream. Thank you. Very, very much.
Precedent with what Donald Trump did, and the basis for what Donald Trump did and his lawyers in 2021 was built upon what happened in the election between Nixon and Kennedy, when Hawaii sent a non-certified slate. Would you call that fake as well?
No, in that case, this was before the certification had happened. The state
Incorrect.
sent 2 slates.
Incorrect.
In these cases,
Incorrect.
there were certifications by each state and then verified by the governor,
Split up.
then sent to the to Washington, and those were the ones Trump wanted to get counted.
Thank you again, gentlemen. Very, very much appreciated. And shout out to Matthew King. Good to see you. Welcome to the party.
To Washington, and those were the ones Trump wanted to get counted.
Will
It
it
did
come up
not
on the screen, by the
represent
way?
Mhm.
the lawful outcome of the elections in those states. Y'all agree with that?
Agree with you about what?
That's what Trump was trying to do, getting electors that weren't the ones lawfully certified by the states to get counted?
No.
Okay,
What do you
Oh, we're going to be laughing a lot, baby. Don't you worry.
cool. Then
wait?
So-
What was he doing?
So we'll pull this up. Hang on.
Okay.
One step at a time.
So in Hawaii, and it just disappeared on me. Why does it do that? And I'm using Wikipedia, which I'm not a big fan of because it is oversimplified and often wrong. But it says that Hawaii official results showed Nixon winning by a small margin. Hawaii's 3 electoral votes were cast for Nixon. Acting Governor James Keelio has certified the Republican electors, and they cast Hawaii's 3 electors for Nixon. However, clear discrepancies existed, blah, blah, blah. The court challenge was still ongoing at the time of the electoral count's safe harbor deadline.
Come on, Tim. You got to read better if you're broadcasting.
But Democratic electors still convened on the constitutionally mandated date of December 19th and cast their votes for Kennedy. Would you consider those to be illegitimate votes because it had already been certified for the
yeah, and
Republican?
then
Can we keep
There we go.
reading?
continue.
The recount completed before Christmas resulted in Kennedy being declared the winner by 115 votes.
There we
On December 30th, the circuit court ruled that Hawaii's 3 electoral votes should go to Kennedy. It was decided that a new certificate was necessary with only 2 days remaining before Congress convened to count and certify the Electoral College votes. A letter to Congress saying a certificate was on the way was rushed out by registered airmail. Both Democratic and Republican electoral votes from Hawaii were presented for counting on January 6th, and Vice President Nixon, who presided over the certification, graciously said, without the intent of establishing a precedent, and requested unanimous consent that Democratic votes for Kennedy be counted.
Right.
So the clarification here, let's make sure it's very clear.
Sure.
The Democratic votes were never certified. They were intending to certify, but because the deadline was approaching, they submitted false documents, as you described it, before certification was done.
No, because
Okay, wait. So now that we're way past. So I think it was you, Carl, but it might have been one of the other guys when you rated me from TSN, and you're like, do you Rob Saul your dog? What does that mean? What does that mean?
the circuit court ruled that the electoral vote should go to Kennedy.
Hold on. I got to stop you. The circuit court has nothing to do with the convening of Democrats to file false papers. Did the Democrats convene without a court order and sign documents that were not real?
Was the
Right up there. What does it mean? All this time, I've had no idea what it means.
president trying to get the ones
That's
that
a-
didn't
let's
know?
answer the question.
This is the question.
I am glad. I had a feeling. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go no.
Because
I
we're
asked the
talking about
question.
Donald Trump's actions.
Right. So
I'm asking
we're
the
starting
question.
with precedent.
We're
I asked
talking
the
about
question.
Donald Trump's actions.
I asked you a question. and you
Did the
changed subject.
sitting president at the time try to get, after the court cases had been resolved, try to get the Democratic?
We have to start.
So again, here, I'm trying to help Luke. So if he was asking a question, but he didn't qualify it properly, and so now he's then just say, okay, what I should have asked. Just fine. The other question was answered, but that's not really what I wanted to know. But people can misspeak. That's no big deal. You're like, okay, you're right. What I meant to ask was XYZ. If that's still the point that you're trying to make and what he read didn't do anything to it, then clarify your question.
Also, electors counted. They didn't.
Let's start here. Did the
But
Democrats?
none of y'all are even engaging with that fact.
Are you going to
This is
answer
what
the question?
You're going to go and spin and spin and spin because you can't engage with the fact that you do.
You're pattering.
You know
You're pattering.
that Trump was trying to get Pence. What was Trump trying to get Pence to do?
You are pattering.
What was Trump trying to get Pence?
You are
to do?
pattering.
Can
we stop and go back to the debate?
Keep repeating that.
Sure.
This is the debate.
So
What did
where
the president of the United States do
you're
at
going
the
to keep.
time?
You're just pattering. All right. I'm going to say it again. We are reading a.
I think by pattering, he just means like throwing out a bunch of things. It's just keep talking. So you don't have time to respond properly. I think that's what he means.
What did the president of the United States do
You're
at
going to
the
keep.
time?
You're just pattering. All right. I'm going to say it again. We are reading a specific passage on what Hawaii did, and we are at a specific point in the logical question.
I didn't hear about it until 2020.
Hawaii Democrats were not certified. They filled out paperwork. Pause. The courts had not approved anything.
At that
Were
point,
those documents, yes or no, real or fake?
at that point in time, the recount hadn't even concluded.
Yes or no,
But
were the
when Trump-
documents
when
real
the
or
Trump
fake?
electors met, Georgia had
Okay, you're
already
changing the
counted its
subject
ballots.
again.
I'm explaining to you. The
I am not
differences.
asking you about
You're
Trump.
correct. If those forms,
No, they're just going at it. They are just actually we are at 1.05. If it's as we point to normal speed, but yeah, they are just going at it.
had then been asserted as the law.
But yeah, why does this not surprise me? Just 1 week ago, it's like, oh, I don't know about this guy, and I don't want to do this, and now he's kissing his ass. Come on, man.
For once during the counting process, that would be fraudulent. Yes, but they weren't.
So they submitted documents that were unapproved, not certified to the federal government.
Which ones ended up being the ones that the
Why is it so
federal
hard?
government was going to certify?
Why is this so hard?
Oh my gosh.
Why is no
This
the
is
reason
stunning.
that it
Okay,
seems to be
I'll lay it out
funny that we're debating-
you're doing
You
an
guys,
hour
with y'all.
you see, this is the thing. You guys are trying to present some sophistry as to your argument.
No, you
Now,
can't
hold on,
engage
let me
with
make
what
the
Trump
point.
did. That's
I'm-
exactly what you're
I'm
doing.
gonna
You
make my
can't
point.
engage with what Trump did.
I'll make my point. Stop pattering.
And then will you let us make our points?
So absolutely. The
Okay.
problem,
Yeah, that's how a conversation works. And remember, it's his show. So when you're on somebody's show, the deference goes to them. And just like last time when you got destroyed and you had all the time in the world to go back on your own channel and cope in your own little way and try to make it seem like you won. There's no shortage of time, buddy.
problem is I'm asking about Hawaii and you keep changing the subject to Trump. So let's go through Hawaii.
Mhm.
The Democrats had no right, by your logic, to fill out this paperwork and submit it to the federal government as the certified slate of electors.
Mhm.
Only after the fact did the court make a decision. Now let's go to 2020. If there is pending court decisions, and there were, Republicans
Mhm.
doing the same thing Democrats
Tim,
did.
no, you're wrong. The circuit court decided that a new certificate was necessary.
After the fact.
Before Congress convened.
Yes, but
We're
after
talking about
they
okay.
had already submitted the documents. This is why I'm asking you. When you said they were false documents, I didn't say anything else. What makes them false? It's the same as Hawaii. If you want to make the argument that Democrats did the same thing in 1960, I will agree with you.
But we're not making that
In
argument because that's not what they
1960,
did.
this is the point. In 1960, while there was still a recount going on and ongoing court cases, and it was so narrow they really didn't know which way it was going to go. Then they didn't even submit those or try to get them counted. The sitting president at the time
Until a court.
until it was determined Trump's
They submitted
case,
them.
he got all 7 states after this whole process had been concluded. It wasn't close enough for the recount to flip it. The recounts had concluded, and he was trying to get not let's have 2 standing by because we don't know how this recount's going to go, but from 7 states that we know the outcome of, but I'm making false claims of fraud on them. I'm going to get Pence.
You're presuming that he knows they're false. The whole argument, you're begging the question. Maybe he did know that there was no way and there was no fraud, and he was just I don't know. Maybe it sounds like a big waste of time if he knew it wasn't going to work. So you can't say making false claims if you don't know that he knew they were false. I mean, they could be false, but not the same thing if you're just wrong.
7 states that we know the outcome of, but I'm making false claims of fraud on them. I'm going to get Pence to keep me as president by accepting fake electors. Tim, for a second, because we're supposed to be debating them. I think could they also try to defend?
Good point. Good point. Tim does like to. Well, let's just say Tim is a very, very bad moderator
in this stance?
Yeah, because you're
That
comparing
failed,
apples and
obviously.
oranges thing, as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
That was silly.
yeah, like if a court decided in one of the 5 or 7 states that Trump tried to peddle the false elector scheme, that if a court contested the Democratic slate of electors, then I think you would have an apples to apples comparison. But that's
Oh, so we just defer to the courts no matter what. I'm good.
not what happened.
Yeah.
In none of the 7
And
states,
it wasn't close enough to where they didn't know which way it was going to go.
Right, there
This
was
one
no actual
hundreds of
ambiguity.
votes. Yeah.
Do you know that now, or is that the claim? Or, yeah, are you know that now, or was it reasonable to think that maybe that wasn't the case, and especially because of the rule change and COVID and all that stuff, that some fuckery might have been afoot?
Andrew, anything? Myron?
Well, what's the argument here? Is it fascism, or because you guys went into a whole
So
other
one of the
tangent?
Matthew said maybe he knew that 8 million people that had never once voted in their lives all came out at once to vote for Biden by mail-in ballots. Of course. Of course. Now, technically, that's not cheating because you changed the rules, but it's still, let's say, who just said slimy? That's slimy just like Newsom. You may not have cheated, but you're slimy AF. And also, you kind of cheated.
Because you guys went. I don't know if you guys. It started with fascism,
Sure,
but
let
we
me
went
explain.
into Kennedy
One of the-
election in 1960s.
I'll explain. One of the key tenets of, again, I know you'll get really triggered, so I'm trying to stay away from that particular term, but we can say fascism, authoritarianism,
Fascism is based. I don't know what Trump is.
anti-democracy.
It's pretty fucking based. I don't know what the issue is. Right?
Is that legitimate or joke? Because we can go into that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we can go.
Now suddenly you want to talk
Okay.
about fascism.
One of the
Go
key,
ahead.
one of the key tenets is rejecting democratic principles and the democratic process.
According to who?
According to every single fascism scholar ever and the definition.
Okay.
do you mean according to who? Like what determines the democratic processes?
No, I'm asking according to who.
Yeah, sure, read it.
Yeah, go ahead. So far right authoritative. No. Pull up Giovanni Gentile. This would be the person that you guys would like
You
to
see?
use
You see?
as an authority. Yeah.
Just the audience
we-
can-
Yeah, see, Wikipedia told me I'm right, and because you know other things, then you're not willing to engage. What? Why don't you wait to see what they're going to pull up, and then you can refute it?
cite
They're terrified.
Gentile? I thought it was
I'm saying
Gentile. When did we
this-
cite him?
getting
Wait,
into-
I'm sorry. Is
getting in-
reading a Wikipedia article proof of your position?
No, getting into a hyper
Mhm.
specific definitional discussion. I don't care what you call it. Bad. Let's say bad. Bad is what I think Trump did. And that's what I'm trying to get you to see, not the definition, because I know you feel way more comfortable spinning around and reading about whoever. Instead, we can just talk about, regardless of the definition, is it good or bad to reject democratic results? Is it good or bad to threaten the media based on my principles, which value
What do you mean
democratic
threaten the media?
So Trump has repeatedly called for like investigations into reporters, into media outlets. He believes that
And we know that reporters and news outlets and media outlets can't do anything wrong, right? King Ivana said, I'm happy for Myron, but he feels out of place. Maybe we'll do more debates and get better, though. I mean, I don't really care either way, to be honest with you. But it just seems a little, I don't know. It's in terms of the style of debate, he may not be very on the level intellectually, but you know, when it comes to little beta boy, he definitely knows how to handle that shit. So I'm just here for the entertainment value.
the business licenses of like ABC and CBS, MSNBC, he says, should be pulled. I mean, you don't see these sorts of threats from the Democratic Party.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because it goes in their favor.
So let's get into them.
And even if you did,
Has Trump pulled anybody's license ever as president? Has he actually sent any government officials to do any investigations at any major?
So you
media
agree, though,
organization? Stop,
him saying
stop, bro. I just let you go through your whole stupid spiel.
You keep
Has Trump actually
kind of boring.
done that?
Are threats not bad?
And first of all, hyperbole isn't a threat. That's one.
Trump.
And
I,
hang on.
CBS should
And
take it off the air, should they?
what I want to see, so as Spurgley over here keeps on losing his mind, he doesn't want to get into hyper specifics.
Berkeley.
He doesn't want to get into hyper specific semantics because that would cause what we'd like to call clarification. That way, we're not talking past each other.
I don't think
And again, but the fact that Luke was right, that Andrew does this. It's not, you don't automatically win by pointing it out. You win by addressing how he is not addressing what you are talking about. You have to use him going outside of the confines of what we're talking about. As you just said, we want to talk about the actions of Donald Trump. Were they good or were they bad? the definitions of fascism or whatever, it doesn't matter. And for this conversation, fine, you can do that. That doesn't change the fact that you've been using the word all along. But then you at some point have to be able to engage on that level and beat him. That's like, I'm not so much anymore, but I used to be a huge UFC fan. And, people used to hate the lay and pray. Everyone wants to stand and bang, right? But you have the wrestlers come in and they just pull some guy to the guy they're fighting to the ground, but they don't really know any jiu-jitsu. They just kind of hold them there and run the clock out. And because they're in the dominant position, they win the round, 3 rounds, and you win without really actually fighting. And I when I was watching stuff, I was like, oh, come on, I want to see some fighting. But at the end of the day, it's not the guy's fault who won for winning. It's the guy's fault who lost for not being able to nullify what he already knows his opponent's bringing to the table. So if you already know that Andrew Wilson's going to bring this type of debate to the table, then be ready. Have these definitions right off the top of your head. Take some goddamn notes. Have them pieced out so that he can't drag you into an area that you're not prepared for. Because as you just said, you are prepared for this type of debate.
I think you're
right?
hearing what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just, dude, I just gave you your whole spiel. So anyway, the reason I want to get specific about this, about what fascism is, about whether or not Trump is actually a fascist, whether or not Trump actually enacted fascist policy, all of these things is because you guys, you can't sit on your shows and say, this guy's a fascist, he's an authoritarian, he's a dictator, he's a threat to democracy.
And then come here and be like, well, that doesn't really matter. Yeah. Like I said, January 6th was bad. And however much Trump contributed to the riot starting, not clear, but likely more than nothing. Yeah, I'll agree with that. That was bad. Yeah. I could agree with that. You see how it doesn't really hit when you actually just talk about it in plain terms. Because I'm sure they would agree. And I mean, even if we go back to the fact that most of the people is not what we're talking about. Most of the people were just walking around. Half of the people, I don't know half, but a bunch of the people were damn near on a guided tour, including the QAnon shaman. But those who weren't, yeah, they were bad. And that's what they're trying to do is specifically with not J6 right now, but the word fascist, trying to make it into something that it's not. And that's why Andrew is perfect for this particular debate. Well said.
This guy's a fascist. He's an authoritarian. He's a dictator. He's a threat to democracy. And then give us nothing. Just like, oh, he used some hyperbole about the media.
We just talked about examples.
Tried to stay in office despite losing an election.
Yeah, okay, hang on. We'll get to that stuff.
Well, but again, that's begging the question. Did he, despite knowing, did he know? I didn't know.
For a second. Right now, we're talking about something else. We're talking about the media. Calm down. Calm down, Spursley.
So annoying.
Calm down, Spursley.
But Andrew, that's just a misrepresentation of our position. You say that we give you nothing. We're giving you specific things that he did, which
not with the no. You made this claim that Trump has done bad things to the media. He wants to pull their license. He wants to take something away from them.
Threatened to do those things.
Where has he done them?
Right. Yeah, and can say it's not necessarily a shit argument if that's what you're trying to prove, but to go to the level from he did some bad things to he's authoritarian or fascistic or dictatorial or any of these words, it's not there. It's not there. And you can criticize all the things you want. The whole point is that you use hyperbole, which they just tried to say is fascism. They use hyperbole, and then they get mad at us when we want to talk about okay, well, what exactly was racist? Oh, come on, you know. Like, no, I don't know.
So do you think that it's acceptable unless he follows through on it?
Yeah, I think that hyperbole is fine. I think that presidents use hyperbole all the time. I think that liberals use hyperbole. So for instance, I'm going to give you an example. When you say Trump's a fascist, I think that's hyperbole.
Would you?
Because I don't think you actually think he's a fascist. I think that you just think fascism means authoritarianism. You don't even know what the fuck it is. You don't.
Not even that far. Exactly what King just said. They think it means bad. Okay, so you think Trump's bad? Okay,
care about it. Hang on. So I think you're actually using hyperbole when you're talking about fascism in general. So when Trump uses it, When Trump uses hyperbole,
They just groan like, oh my God, how could you say such a thing?
when Trump is speaking this way, Trump bad. When you're speaking this way, that's fine.
Andrew, you're a smart guy.
Rules for thee, but not for me.
You should be able to recognize meaningful differences between just a random schmuck and then the president. Of the
Show me
United
the
States.
meaning.
Number one. Number two. Number
Okay,
two. I don't think it's hyperbole at all. We're talking about specific things,
Mhm.
specific examples of things that Trump has either done or threatened to do.
Like he
Let-
said,
let- let-
Zuckerberg
let me
should be in
ask you guys
prison
a
now.
question here.
Zuckerberg's
Let me ask you
implementing
guys a
policies
question.
that are more friendly to him.
So
That's
let me ask you guys a question. We're talking a lot about the
Outcome.
threats, and Andrew asked about what he had done. Do you think if Donald Trump threatened to kill an American, that would be
Yeah.
fascistic?
Well,
Okay, let's do that. We got a nice answer here on our poll. Going forward, will liberals be less insane than the 2016 to 2020 era? And 60% of you are saying the same level of insanity, but just on different stuff. So let's see if Trump threatened to kill an American, would that be fascism? What do you guys think? I'm gonna leave it up for a minute before they go. Yeah, exactly. Pearl clutching like little bitches. Dylan said those thick frame glasses confirm the fact that he is that he genuinely believes that. Yep, it does tend to work like that, doesn't it? It does tend to work like that. So again, the question on the poll, guys, hit that poll. If Trump threatened to kill an American, would that be fascism or would that be fascistic?
Think if Donald Trump threatened to kill an American, that would be
Yeah.
fascistic.
well,
So-
fascistic?
Well, I
Again,
mean, like, so
we're gonna.
just to
Yeah,
clarify.
I know. It's really.
We're-
You're
we're-
gonna try to go.
Like I said, I just feel half of this country are running in the opposite direction of each other as fast as they can. I don't see any reconciliation in our future. I think that is the two halves. I feel like that is. It could definitely seem like that. But especially right before and right after a presidential election, you're going to see a lot of shifting. And we've already, over the past year or so, seen a lot of shifting, just on the right side of the aisle, from focusing on wokeism to focusing on, the wars in Gaza and Ukraine and stuff like that. So I don't know. I definitely see a realignment. Do I think that the leftists of today and the groypers of today, do I think they will ever be aligned? No. But I'm a little bit more, maybe not optimistic, but just less pessimistic.
Fascistic?
Well, I
Again,
mean, like, so
we're gonna.
just to clarify.
Yeah, I know. It's really. You're gonna try to go somewhere. Blah, blah, blah. I want to
I'm
stay
asking-
focused.
See that? Don't do that. I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna do. Okay, if you can refute that, let him do it and then refute it. If you don't know that he's gonna do that, then you sound stupid.
We're gonna.
just to
Yeah,
clarify.
I know.
you're
It's
gonna
really.
do.
You're gonna try to go somewhere. Blah, blah, blah. I want to
I'm
stay
asking-
focused because
okay,
what
well,
I'm seeing
we
here
are
is
being
that-
No one's allowed to talk
No.
Pittsburghly.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, man,
bro.
I didn't-
No one's
you're
allowed to
not-
talk
that's
Pittsburghly.
what
I'm trying to advance the conversation by asking
All right.
a question to clarify
Okay,
the
but I'm
points
gonna
being
go
made.
back to what we were talking about. when
You
you're done.
guys said he's threatening the media. Andrew said that he hasn't actually done it. So I'm trying to say, what if it was a more extreme threat that wasn't just, I'll pull a license? What if Trump said he would kill an American citizen?
As long as Megan goes with him.
Would the threat of killing an American in and of itself, without the action of doing it, be fascistic?
like
and this is for
us
everybody.
specifically, like he's gonna for
Like
what
if Trump said, I'm going to shoot a guy on Fifth Avenue, I'm going to go do it right now. My point being,
I would say no in that context, but I am actually with King Nirvana. Because if you were to say, let's just take a random business owner and say, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to kill you. That's kind of fascistic. Or as we are ironing out what we actually mean by fascism, then that might fall more into authoritarian. But so I do think used in that way, it could be an abuse of power, whichever way you want to label it. The full context definitely matters. Did she? What? No, they're not together anymore. I thought they had a whole podcast together or something. I don't care. But yeah, I think for the most part, if you were using that to advance your political goals, I would not be okay with that. I would not be okay with that. Shout out to Leslie McDowell in the building. Welcome to the party. I can't read that. That symbol for a direct democracy of elite oligarchs. The ancient Roman fascists would appoint two duoarchs for 1-year terms. They would occasionally appoint a dictator for 6 months. There you go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Oh, he's on the last one. Oh, well. All right. Oh, no. Well, everybody, let's take a moment. Take a moment for Meghan and Harry. How will we make it through? I think we can soldier on. You think we can I think we can soldier on.
Like he's gonna
Like if Trump said, I'm going to shoot a guy on Fifth Avenue, I'm going to go do it right now. My point being,
Like, yeah, if he said that, that's not fascism. But the implication is that it's for its power, because then anybody can say that.
threatening to take legal action. We can argue whether, like, it seems kind of a legalese question. So I'm trying to shift it to let's talk about an extreme action Trump could threaten.
Okay. Well,
Would
I
that
still haven't
threaten of
gotten
itself?
an explanation of how it's acceptable to try to block the peaceful transfer of power from Andrew, which is what I keep saying. You brought up the fascism word. I said, hey, I get that people get real bogged down, which is why.
Right. Shout out to that video where the one dude was like, yo, screw Trump. I love Obama. I love Biden. As he's getting hauled away. Oh, that was beautiful. Beautiful. And again, not because I want to see anybody get put into, a life situation that's not great for them, but because you shouldn't be here. You simply shouldn't be here. That's it. That's it. Because of the implication. Exactly. Are you going to hurt these women? No, I'm not going to hurt anybody. You certainly wouldn't be in any danger. So there is danger.
I've respect. And you brought up the fascism word. I said, hey, I get that people get real bogged down, which is why
they're eating the dogs.
I've had hours of discussions about that particular term. I came here interested to see if MAGA figures could defend the actual actions, not the label, but the actions. And I'm yet.
Then you should have been focusing on the actions instead of the name calling for the last 8 years. If that's what you wanted, then you reap what you sow. That's as simple as I can put it. Like I said, on January 6th, the crowd tried to overthrow a fascist regime. However, if Trump appointed his own direct democracy of oligarchs, he would just be replacing one fascist regime with another, which I believe is what he's done. All right, fair enough. Carl said, the ones they've been getting are huge POS. Who's they? What? ICE. Yeah. And I'm glad that they're going that way. That, if you're, just some guy working, I still maintain that you shouldn't be here. But in the same way, if, somebody was sitting on my stoop and I'd be like, hey, you can't be here. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to be in pain. You just can't be sitting on my porch. Damn, especially not inside. Come on, man.
If MAGA figures could defend the actual actions, not the label, but the actions. And I'm yet to hear you walk through any of them. We're getting a little bit to the specifics of the media, so I appreciate that. But so to answer your question,
bro, you realize we're 16 minutes into the conversation. 16 minutes into the conversation that includes introductions and all that stuff. And they were joking around a little bit. Well, I want this. I'm going to do it. I want it now. All right. What the hell is that bitch from Veronica Fluke? I don't know. The blueberry bitch from Willy Wonka. Oh, look at that freeze frame.
Beta.
Question, him trying to induce a feeling of fear among the media as it's working with his rhetoric, with clear intentions, some of which he didn't actually get done the last time, but like he wanted.
Let me explain why I asked the question.
Things. And I'm still waiting on either of them.
So here's.
It's not your show, you little fruitcake. It's not your show. You don't get to dictate. I want it now.
Here's why I asked the question about killing an American specifically.
Obama, I know.
No, it's because whether or not the government can pull a license is a legal question over whether or not they violated a public license. And so you guys are then arguing outside of the actual confines of a legal issue.
And that's what I'm saying, Michael, is that if he really believed the election was stolen, then all of this goes away. And in concept, it all goes away because it all hangs upon the fact that he knew that he was losing and he tried to be a dictator anyway. And it's like, maybe, okay. But you have to prove that before you say it. You can't just say things. Leslie said, trust me, you guys don't want to be fascists. They are the Uniparty. I am with you there. Dylan said, Veruca Salt. There you go. There you go. And of course, the good one. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That's the good one. I'm gonna have to take a look. And that, we want to give him his due. We want to give him his due. Dylan said, Luke has the same comedic timing and social awareness as Nikki Footcake. Oh, two sides of the same coin. Do you know how much it would grind his gears to hear that? It would keep him up at night. All right. Where we hear you.
So then arguing outside of the actual confines of a legal issue, which so let's make it definitively an issue of illegal or legal.
Or we could talk about what Trump is.
Okay, the federal government grants public licenses with
So he just did it again. Or we could just do it my way.
illegal or legal.
Or we could talk about what Trump is.
Okay, the federal government grants public licenses with stipulations.
Child.
If you want to debate whether or not they can or can't, that's a legal procedural question.
You understand you can have the governmental power to.
He is not man enough to wear this shirt. It looks like he's trying. He looks pretty gay in this shirt.
do something, but how you
I mean, it's a decent shirt, but it's not for not for him.
Legal procedural question.
You understand you can have the governmental power to do something, but how you leverage it for the purpose-
This is why I tried shifting away to something more direct, like killing somebody.
So am I.
A threat to kill somebody is a direct question.
Again,
Well, the government can kill
the
people.
government can kill people.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, to me,
certain
this belies the
circumstances, but
point of
why?
it. Like, this idea that it can't be authoritarian or it can't be fascist if it is within the technical legal confines of the federal government. That's absurd.
That's not the point I'm making.
Of course,
Which is why, again, the semantics would be really important here to clarify what we mean when we say fascist.
No one's bringing that up.
We're giving
Yeah, right. He's spot on. That talk show personality. He belongs on The View with the other ladies.
care about the labeling.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up, Spurgley.
We're giving you specific.
Yeah, but that doesn't actually tell me what we mean by this.
Guys,
All right. Every time that Andrew calls him a name, we are drinking. We're not going to stop the show, but we are doing it.
sure, it makes for great clips, but we don't need the ad hominems. You called him boring. You're calling him Spurgley. We don't need to do that.
Oh, well, boring.
Oh, come on. I want to hear more Spurgley.
I don't think you're boring.
I don't think you're boring.
I'm not.
I just thought the conversation was getting.
And he is Spurgley. So, but anyway.
Oh, call me whatever. I just want you to answer the
I'm
question.
actually happy to dive into this. You say that I'm avoiding your questions. I'm not. First of all, I'll answer them directly.
Sure.
It's well within Trump's rights, even if it was. Let's just say you're right. Let's just say I grant it. It's within his right.
See, right there. That's exactly what I meant. That when you're saying, oh, that's irrelevant, or when people are saying, let's even say that was true, exactly like he just did. Because what he's demonstrating there is that even if what you're saying was true, it still wouldn't prove your point, or it still wouldn't knock down my point. And that's a powerful thing when you know how to use it. Shout out to M169 in the building. Welcome to the party. Like, yeah, we trying to have fun here. And it's like, come on, Tim. You did not bring these people in here for a high-minded conversation. You knew exactly what you were doing. Let us have our fun. Paul said Trump is here for the next 4 years. Deal with it. Oh, deal with it. They will have to. Will they do well with it? Probably not, but they're going to have to.
Well within Trump's rights, even if it was. Let's just say you're right. Let's just say I grant it. It's within his rights to.
So again, that is a powerful thing. When you know how to, okay, this is not worth arguing about this. Even though he thinks he's right, let him think he's right, because I can still win this argument or win this point.
Within Trump's rights, even if it was. Let's just say you're right. Let's just say I grant it. It's within his rights to set alternatives electors. He's well within his rights to do that. Tell me why that's even wrong.
Are people being prosecuted in states
Answering a question with a question?
for participating?
Tell me why that's even wrong.
Are people being prosecuted in states for participating in this scheme?
Who?
Is
The fake
The fake electors.
Ooh.
In all
wait, I got a question. Does the law prescribe morality?
No.
Wait, you said the right. Do you mean
that's
legal
fine.
right or
It's a
moral
yes or
right?
no
Moral right.
question.
Oh,
Doesn't matter
oh.
about it.
Oh, sorry.
No, I wasn't mad.
So-
No, I thought it was a good question. I was just.
So what's
okay,
actually wrong with it?
So
Why is it even problematic?
because he didn't win the election.
So Let's just say he didn't.
Okay. Well, then agree.
Stop,
Agree.
Spurgley. Let's just say he didn't. Let's just assume
Kamala?
it. Stop,
Kamala?
Spurgley.
Could Kamala
Oh,
do that?
that's two.
Can I have a back and forth for
The election
2
was stolen.
seconds?
I mean,
without you nipping my
this
heels.
is interesting that we're even on this. Like, the election was stolen, guys. That is
Which one?
why
The 2024 election?
the 2020 election
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot Myron was there.
Oh shit!
it was stolen.
I mean, I'd like to just dive into this so
Like-
that we can figure this out real quick.
Why was it stolen? How was it stolen? That's a
Well,
big,
Because Biden was in office and he didn't get more votes than Trump.
different
yeah.
factors here. I mean, I
Technically he did, but again,
wrote it down. We got the mail-in ballot fraud,
that was a
voters,
pretty sleek move there.
Dominion voting systems, vote counting observers, late night ballot dumps, ballot harvesting, double voting, foreign interference, improper voter registration practices, manipulation by poll workers, geolocation data, surveillance footage, whistleblowers, vulnerabilities in election laws, suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop. I mean, what else? I mean, I think anyone with any common sense would understand, because we're talking about the fascism and he challenged the election, all this other stuff. Let's talk about why he challenged it.
bingo. Exactly. Shout out to Shooter McGavin. Welcome to the party. Matthew said yes, he did. And I don't know what we're talking about, but Matthew said he didn't get more real votes. Yeah, I mean, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do at this point? That's why I personally don't think it is like that's it's done. Like Carl was saying, we won this time, and nobody's trying to pretend that it went any other way. It's very clear. I'm good with moving on. I'm good with moving on. Shout out to Guam Tech. Welcome to the party. Very good to see ya. Very good to see ya. Yeah, let them cook. Let them cook. Shooter said, why not cheat again? Because we didn't have a worldwide pandemic that you could fake a reason to change the rules. That's why.
It was
and he lost every court case on standing or merit. Did they hear the cases? Oh, they didn't. Okay.
Because he lost.
no, because it was stolen.
Right.
It was
And
stolen.
are you sure?
There's a multitude of evidence to
Remind
show
me which
that the
court.
2020 election, there was some type of interference to some degree.
Yep. Yeah. Nah. You're right. My bad.
There's a multitude.
Which court he was able to demonstrate that in?
Pennsylvania in the lower court ruled
that
on the
was-
merits that they
It was
violated.
like a procedural, but not.
No, it was an actual
fraudulent
hearing
things
where
he's talking about.
the judge said that the Constitution of Pennsylvania was violated by the implementation of universal mail-in voting. The Supreme Court overturned the rule.
And he
Well,
just
that's the higher court, right? So we should probably.
Well, so
defer to
he
the
asked me
Supreme
which
Court.
court did it. I
Conservative
said,
Yeah, right, I
lower
understand,
courts
but
did.
I assume he's referring to like a court's verdict or a court's
and
ruling,
you just
which
listed
actually
a bunch of like you brought up geolocation data. That was in like 2,000 mules, and they had to admit when
Yeah,
they brought
but
it
the
up.
point I'm
reason
trying to
this
make
is a
that
terrible
there's
argument-
That. So Michael said, if you're fighting back against an illegitimate election, do the ends always justify the means? Absolutely not. What if you had taken away freedom, instituted martial law? I think we need to be consistent. Absolutely. If you'd done any of those things, we'd be having a very different conversation. But just like Sam Harris's argument about vaccines, well, if it was really worse and if people were dying all over the place, well, then yeah, it would be perfectly legal or perfectly reasonable to mandate the vaccine. Sure. But that's not what happened. So yeah, I completely agree with you. If you'd done any of those things, I would have said, yeah, that's fascistic, and I would not have been so open to voting for him for the very first time. Shooter said it's because the whole world is set up to beat him, yet allowed him to be president again. I mean, yeah, man. Like, if you think that that's not how the world works, I don't know what else to tell you, bro. I like. Really? You think that people are just like, oh no, well we just don't like him, but we can't twist any knob, we can't pay anybody off. We just gotta sit here and hope. There's a level that I mean, people are fucking dumb. But do you honestly think they could have sold Kamala Harris beating Trump in this election?
Different factors.
The reason
that
this is
come
a
into
terrible
why.
argument is because if I say, okay, well, then who got prosecuted for insurrection? You'll say, well, just because they weren't prosecuted for insurrection doesn't mean it wasn't an insurrection. It's
No,
like,
I'm saying you
oh,
actually have to
okay,
prove
great.
claims, not
Just
making
because,
them.
well, hang on, Luke.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, just because he wasn't able to demonstrate that the election was stolen in a court because they threw most of it out on standing
Mhm.
doesn't mean it wasn't stolen. It just means that
They
we
didn't prove
had a bunch of
What
judges
about the guy?
who went after it on standing. But there is a lot of evidence here that should be looked at. I'm not saying it was stolen. It's not my position.
I agree with you, Michael. I mean, it does like what could like again? There was a worldwide pandemic. There was a changing of the entire way that the election was done. How do you recreate that? And to just think that, no, there was a worldwide pandemic and the rules were completely changed. And that's not an opportunity to do things, a little weird. Like, okay, dude. Yeah, trust whoever you want to trust. I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, the whole world? No, the whole machine was set up to beat him and couldn't. Bingo. The people have spoken and the beast is afraid. Hooah! Hooah! Yes, sir.
There's a lot of evidence here that should be looked at. I'm not saying it was stolen. It's not my position. Okay, but I am saying that,
and that, yeah. So let's go back to what you said. So if the whole world is set up to beat him, then why wouldn't they hear the cases? Because it was so obvious that he was wrong. He was going to lose. It was so obvious, right? That's why they had to throw it out without even looking at it. It can go both ways. It can go both ways. The fact of the matter is, none of us here know what was in Trump's mind. And if you're going to sit there and tell me that you think that it's impossible for Donald Trump to not be able to accept the fact that he lost, I don't know what guy you're talking about. That it's unreasonable that Donald Trump, of all people, could see things and be like, no, I definitely won that. That's not Trump, right? That's not what we know. Like, come on, bro. Come on. As I just explained, COVID. And let's see, what are they afraid of? They're losing their entire jobs. Have you heard of Doge? Have you heard of Elon Musk? Have you heard of Vivek Ramaswamy? Have you heard of RFK Jr.? That's what they're scared of. Oh, okay. So you don't, okay, I get it. So you just don't really know what's going on. Got it. And what's tonight? So what gets under my skin is the one court case with the vax mandates. Cite Jacobs versus Massachusetts, right? Is that Massachusetts? Whatever. Had to do with the paying a fine instead of getting the smallpox vaccine. He didn't want to pay the fine, and he lost. Yep. And that's just the government, just being on the people, on the side of the people, right? The side of the people. Come on. Matthew Gaines. So there's no way Trump believed he lost in 2020. And I mean, again, I don't know that for sure. But if I'm a betting man, and you tell me, okay, I'm going to take the position that it's impossible that Donald Trump, the guy who puts his name in giant golden letters wherever he goes, is easy at accepting losses. All right, dude, whatever you think. Michael said the Luke guys seem to be saying 2,000 mules was debunked. I hadn't heard about that either, but I also heard that the claims were kind of shaky, and I didn't actually get around to seeing that one. I did see the next thing that what's his name, TheIndianJesus did. My dad wanted to go see it. It was basically just like a 90-minute commercial for Trump, but it was cool. But yeah, I actually never got around to 2,000 mules because again, like when they say they won, that's it. That's it. Unless it is undeniable, like it was in November, they're going to do what they want to do. I thought we understood that about the government, but like, I guess some people are still like, no, they're here to help.
Saying it was stolen. It's not my position. Okay. But I am saying that.
Do you have a position? I'm just out of curiosity.
I think it should be investigated, and it never properly was.
Being investigated.
No, yeah. When Trump is in office, I think he should actually run a real investigation into it. I think that
I disagree. I disagree with I disagree with what Andrew's saying about running an investigation. I understand the importance of it, but you're just, especially because of all the deep state, whatever you want to call it, the ruling class, the manager, whatever you want to call it. There's already too much going against it, and there's too much that can be done. There's too much that can be done now. We can talk about whatever and fix the actual country. And I'm not Trump, so I'm more concerned about that than actually I won 10 years ago. Nobody cares.
That the idea that Trump, so Biden takes the White House. That
never shot it up. I snorted it. Get your facts right, bitch.
That there was a legitimate investment.
There's people that I know that you trust. Oh no. All right, bro. That's what we call ad hominems. when you're not smart enough to be able to make an argument. Oh, you did something else that has nothing to do with that. Okay, yeah, I'm very open about the fact that I was a drug addict, and I beat that shit. So come at me, bitch. That shit would get you 6 feet underground. Come at me. Let's go. Shout out to Box in the building. Welcome to the party. I did see that they were on. But again, unless they have a really, really good segment, Piers Morgan is just, it's too chaotic. It's too chaotic. It's too chaotic. All right. Yes. Yeah. You got me so triggered. I don't know how to deal with your bullshit that you're saying that are true facts, that I'm very open about saying those true facts. What am I gonna do? Dylan said the investigation would be important, but it's old news now. Work on ensuring certification of votes, preventing ways of cheating in the future. Exactly.
So Biden takes the White House, that there was a legitimate investigation done by the Biden
Yes, I do think you're triggered, actually.
administration for the guy he could have lost to. I think that's ridiculous.
But doesn't that motive
Trump
work the
administration
opposite way
investigated.
too?
Go ahead.
Like doesn't that motive work the opposite way? Because Trump's position was before the election, it's stolen, it's
Yeah.
rigged.
Well,
And during the
that's a fair criticism. I just think that you have enough third party people which can be approached who could investigate this in a way in which it was fair.
they hired like third party groups. So
Yeah.
like was it Cyber Ninjas
They weren't
and some
able
others?
to,
Ken
first of
Block
all, they
was
weren't
one guy.
able to subpoena a lot of the evidence that they wanted. They had a lot of the circuit courts throw things out on standing. I do not think that this was a legitimate investigation. And there are some things that should be investigated. For instance,
But what makes you think that a Trump investigation would be any more legitimate? He already is going in with the assumption that he won. And then what happens? Like I don't think it's a good use of time or money.
it's not a secure election to have people just dropping ballots unsecured in a ballot box. That's insanity.
Yeah, but
Well, of course it is. Of course. I mean, the U.S. Postal Service, I've never lost anything in the mail. I know you guys haven't either.
respectfully, Andrew, like subpoenas and standing, these things are like valid legal constructs. Like you have to meet like probable cause for a subpoena. If you don't have probable cause to get a subpoena, then that's on you.
Wait. So the fact that, oh my God. So the fact that a concept in law exists means that it cannot be abused. That's his argument. But dismissing things on standing is already a thing. So it can't be abused.
But respectfully, Andrew, like subpoenas and standing, these things are like valid legal constructs. Like
And?
you have to meet like probable cause for a subpoena. If you don't have probable cause to
Okay, and who determines probable cause?
get a subpoena, then that's on you. And if you don't have standing to bring a case, then again, that's on you. Like
The problem is that
But yeah, the same people will be like, "Oh my God, we need to reform the justice system because there's so many black people in jail." That blah, 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 blah. No, judge said so. So I mean, judge is a judge, right? Judge is a judge. The courts. Pathetic.
You're saying
hang on, it's an allocate. Can I answer one question at a
I'm
time,
not-
dude?
Oh, come on,
And I'm
Sparkly.
just like literally trying to talk to the guy. I think that it's fine. And I think you bring up a valid point, but I think when you have a justice department, you can instruct your justice department how to prioritize different situations.
No, that's not how the government works. They're just, whatever case comes in front of them, they just want to do the best job they can. The government.
I think it's fine for Trump to say, listen, I still think that there was foul play in this election. And even if there wasn't, let's just decide it once and for all. Let's get it figured out once and for all, and instruct his Justice Department to begin investigating whether or not there was some type of
It at
foul play
least
going
warrants an
on.
investigation.
The only reason I would be okay with spending that much time and money on an investigation of the 2020 election again would be, what did he just say? Get it
Department to begin investigating whether or not there was some type of
It at
foul
least
play going
warrants an
on.
investigation.
I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot it.
And who conducted the investigation? You said
That's
they got
what
someone
happened.
got
His
hired.
administration-
Who did it?
a guy named Kim
Republicans,
Block
I think in Arizona
was
hired
an independent. They got like the
Cyber
Cyber
Ninjas,
Ninjas
yeah.
in Arizona.
Guys, if you are having a good time, do me a huge favor. It is free to do. Just share the video, take the URL, hit that share button, plaster it wherever you can. Guys, it does not matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. It doesn't matter. matter. As long as you tell YouTube that you want other people to see it, they will show it to other people. It's free, it's easy, and it helps out so very much. Please share the video. Thank you.
Zona.
Okay, so they already lost because they don't have the authority to properly do the investigation. You need federal agents, 1811s, FBI special agents to do the case.
And in case anybody was not aware, Myron did used to be one of these federal agents. I forget exactly what he did, but
that's how it goes.
Trump's
Direct law
administration
enforcement,
was
right?
the one investigating it that then came back to Trump and enraged him by saying we can't find any evidence. And
because they don't have the authority to
they don't have the
properly
evidence.
find evidence.
And this is what you're going to
need
do
FBI agents to do it
until the end of time is say,
okay, then refute it, dude. Stop just bitching about it. This is what you do. You have different opinions than me. Stop. Just stop.
there's never been enough investigations, or you could admit that all of the available evidence doesn't prove it. So
let's advance from the election issue.
We can.
Okay, Dylan, you got. Okay, I was gonna say I don't want to cut you up, but so Dylan said also in regards to 2,000 Mules, the documentary was enlightening on some aspects of what could have gone down, but sadly the evidence is more on the probable evidence / reasonable doubt side of things. The closest we ever got to proof outside of that was the infamous Time magazine article, indirectly admitting to the unusual circumstances of the voting gear and the media government coup. Well said. Thank you. What did you forget? What about that? I think I'm gonna trust you. You got it, guys. Also, don't forget about our swole goal in the Overlord.
All of the available evidence doesn't prove it. So
let's advance from the election issue.
We can.
Okay. So yeah. So don't just keep moving the goalposts. You have to admit that of the investigations that have been done and all the evidence that
what goalpost was moved. What goal? Do you even know what that means?
We've got
the last thing I want to add on this too. Like the to me, it's like, what about the standard? Did you call for investigations into 2016? What about 2024? Should Democrats, the next time they're in power, like forensically audit, the
if we have mass mail-in ballots, then yes.
2024 election, would you be satisfied with
that? They do ask for these things.
They do as well. Not to the degree as obviously, but yeah, there's verification processes.
Okay, but we're off of that.
I'm sorry,
we're off of that. So then we're off of that.
So
and let's also remember, Luke here was like in diapers when Bush and Gore were elected. He's got to be what, 23, 24. So I actually don't know why, but I care enough about this. Let's see. Luke B. Oh, that's not how that works. Luke. Why can't I spell? Luke Beasley. That's not him. What? He's not important enough to have an age on a thing. Oh, poor Luke. Okay, 22. So born in 2002, and that was the 2000 election, right? That was the 2000 election. So he wasn't even. He wasn't even in elementary school. He was in diapers. So let's just keep that in mind. So Dylan said, would we be satisfied? No, because that's only a fraction of the issue. Yeah. Agreed. Not worth the time, not worth the bullshit. And we know what we know what we know. And was that 98? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I went in the other way around. I was like, oh, he was 2 years old. Yeah, he wasn't even out of his dad's ball sack. I can do math. I promise. 2 and 0, they're different numbers. But yeah, oh my goodness. Wasn't even alive. Matthew Gaines said, if we have 8 million new voters any year, it should be investigated. 2020 was an anomaly. Yeah, have you looked at the numbers of total number of popular votes in past presidential elections? Nope. So if you go to so we had 2020. Oh, I didn't look at the numbers. So where's the popular vote percentage margin? Right here. Okay, so we're looking at these. If we look at Oh, sorry, I'm big. I'm big here. So we look at 2016. There was So if we look at 2008, almost 69,500, or excuse me, 69.5 million votes. Then in 2012, it went up. Our boy Obama gained new people, almost 70 or 66. Oh no, my bad. 69 million to 65 million. Then 2016 was 62 million. And then we look at 2020, 70 or 81 million. Who's those peoples? Who's those peoples? And then magically goes back down to a normal number that's still high, but with the polling and all of that to match up. So it's just stupid to think that's weird. It's just stupid to think that's weird. Like, what are you, a conspiracy theorist? Guanzek said, gee, I wonder who pays people like Luke to cope so hard. The Biden administration outright admitted last year that they are working with social media influencers. Act Blue is the big name that pays like Harry Sisson and all that. Somebody do a quick Google for that. See if they just do Luke Beasley Act Blue. See if anything comes up. Dixon said, realizing someone who's 22 wasn't even alive in 2000. That's a mindfuck. Yep. I remember when the first time I asked the question, do you remember 9/11? I was like, did I just say that out loud? But like, I was working at a restaurant and there was this girl, she was like 19 at the time. It was probably not quite 10 years ago. And so do you remember 9/11? I was like, what the fuck just came out of my mouth? That's a real question now. Wild. Shout out to Dietrich. Welcome to the party. Said, imagine someone on the soccer field trying to do a penalty kick and they keep moving the ball, claiming the goalie is moving the goalpost because he knows he's gonna get blocked. Projection. That's too good of an analogy for us not to really talk about it. Like, because obviously we talk about moving the goalpost and it's a play on, a sports thing. And we don't actually talk about like the goalie or anything. That's smart. You smart. Dietrich's always coming with the fire. Welcome to the party. And it gets worse the older you get. I'm not, 35 hits hard. All right. 30 was the worst. I'm only 35 now, so I don't know what's coming next. But I did not expect 35 to hit that hard, and it hit hard. All right, Megan, yeah?
They do ask for these things.
All right,
but we're off of that.
I'm sorry,
We're off of that.
advance.
So then we're off of that.
So,
but do you agree?
Well, I've got a topic for you guys based on what you have asked. So
Sure.
I want to ask a question. So one of the things that kicked this off was you guys asked about Trump's threats to the media.
Yeah.
Recently, Mark Zuckerberg went on the Joe Rogan podcast and said that he was getting phone calls from the Biden administration screaming and cursing at him, and that they were effectively pressured into censoring information. One of these stories in particular, Mark Zuckerberg said that the feds went to him and said, there will be information on Hunter Biden. This will be Russian disinformation. Knowing that they were pressuring and screaming at them, Facebook ultimately removed this story, which according to a few pollsters, they believe did swing the election by a few, or swing public opinion on Trump by a few.
Bro, you better recognize who's in this chat. I'm the baby around here.
Points. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on that story.
I was just say, if there's like any evidence that the Biden administration threatened Facebook to like censor disinformation.
Did he just say there's? Did I?
Any evidence?
The CEO said it. What do you mean there's no evidence? Eyewitness testimony is no longer evidence. I mean, like, how low can you go? How low can you go? This is the limbo. Jesus Christ, on a motorbike. Grumsek said no info on Act Blue and Beasley, but I have a feeling it's buried. I'd be willing to say that anybody who's out here doing this stuff is, just expressing their opinions. There's enough people that are as dumb and confident as Luke. It's just not going to surprise me at all when information comes out. Dietrich said, I'm not turning 35 until Trump is out of office. Oh, sweetie baby. That's cute. Can you reach over the fridge? I can't. Which is why I said 35 is still a youngin'. Come see me in 10 years. I will be here. I will be here. You better too. All right. There's no evidence except for the CEO directly saying it publicly.
I'm curious your guys' thoughts on that story.
I was just to say, if there's like any evidence that the Biden administration threatened Facebook to like censor disinformation,
Put a one in the chat if you have not seen the words coming out of Mark Zuckerberg's face.
that's fucked up, and I would condemn
We're
that
against it.
wholeheartedly, 100%.
Okay. So
But
But
number
what?
one, I think Zuckerberg was asked about this by, was it Rogan? It was like, do you have any like
Rogan
evidence of
talked
that
about
or any
that, yeah.
recordings? He
Yeah.
was like, no, unfortunately. And to me, the other thing I really
no. Don't do this, homie. Don't do this, homie. Don't do this. I'm already trying so hard not to let the fact that you and Luke agree. I'm trying to judge you for your own person. But are you about to say, well, he didn't prove it? As if the government wouldn't say anything unless it's recorded. What? Come on. Stupid. Come on. Golden said 38 was interesting, especially having your first kid at that age. Well, I would imagine it's more about the kid than being 38. But I don't know. Maybe it's both.
and it was like, do you have any like,
Rogan
evidence of
talked
that or
about
any
that,
recordings? He was like, no, unfortunately. And to me, the other thing I really want to emphasize here, every administration, including Trump's, engaged with social media to like the intelligence agencies to like say, hey, this might be a potential terroristic threat. This might be a violation of national security. This might violate your own TOS, number one. And number two, I recall during the Twitter Files congressional hearing, we found out that even on petty shit, that the Trump administration reached out to Twitter to ask them to remove a tweet by Chrissy Teigen, John Legend's wife, because she called him a pussy ass bitch. Like,
okay, yeah, and that's bad. You should not do that, Trump. I don't like that. That's not free speech. I don't like that. Okay, your turn.
There's never like a perfectly demarcated line, but I expect that there's going to be engagement between social media and the intelligence agencies of every administration. But when you're asking people to take down tweets because you referred to the president as a pussy ass bitch, that's weak.
So let me
shit.
respond to
Do you have any evidence of that?
this,
Yeah, but if
There-
they did
there-
it, we'd be against it.
dude. I don't like. Just calm down. You'll get a chance.
I'll take that.
So anyway,
I'll take that. Drink.
to respond to this, that I think you make some valid points, but there's some there that aren't really valid.
Mhm.
So yeah, sure. So let's say someone in the Trump administration or even Trump himself is like, hey, can you take this tweet down? I don't like it. It hurts my feelings. Right? Fine. You can condemn it. You can say, it's an abuse of power or something like this. Seems like a kind of vague abuse of power, but there's a
I'm pretty gay.
distinction when Facebook is being contacted by the Biden administration to tell them to censor all anti-COVID vaccination
Mhm.
information, period. To take those things down, to throw people off who are disseminating this information, this and that. He says, this is now narrative building. This is, I want you, this giant, enormous media outlet, to
Probably too much, Dylan. Probably too much.
to build the narrative that my administration wants. And I'm going to use the coercive power of my office to do it. There's a distinction, I think, between that and I don't like this tweet, take it down.
So
Does anybody disagree? Put a 1 in the chat if you disagree that those two situations are different in the context of abuse of power.
again, if that's exactly what happened,
That's exactly what happened. Do you have, any evidence? Like, again, you're not willing to take the word of the fucking guy who runs the whole thing, but you're willing to entertain that there might be some other thing that's going to refute that. Why? Oh, because you want to be right instead of wanting to be truthful.
Down.
So again, if that's exactly what happened, I'd probably be inclined to agree, but there's no evidence of that. The number one, it was
Except
just
Zuckerberg saying
well,
it.
wait a minute. What I mean is, so again, it depends very much on the nature of the engagement between the government and Facebook. Again, if they threaten Facebook,
What do you mean if? Why are you saying if? What evidence do you have that can refute Mark Zuckerberg? Why are you saying that?
if you don't take this down, there will be consequences or something like that, besides just requests or even strong requests. There's also a public health.
But you just said that it was bad that Trump made a request. You just said that. So if that's bad, we can agree that that's bad. Trying to build a narrative using those same powers has to be worse. I don't understand where he feels like he has ground to stand on. He has nothing to stand on here. And Monty9 said, hell, I belong to several groups on Facebook that no longer exist because of their anti-vax stance. And by that, they were probably saying, hey, check with a doctor. There might be some other stuff. Right? Not like, oh, they're out to kill you. I mean, maybe, but, we didn't know. Dylan said, no, it doesn't exist. I don't know.
I just
conveniently are brilliant at being able to rattle off facts about this, that, but conveniently dumb. Well, I hadn't heard about that. I mean, if that's the case, then perhaps I could agree with that. But shut up.
Requests or even strong requests. There's also a public health emergency at issue here. So even if you disagree with,
which is exactly why we need all the information we can get.
What the federal government under Donald Trump, by the way, because a lot of this happened in 2020 and under the Biden administration.
You mean in 2020 when we actually didn't know what was going on, as opposed to 2021 and on when we did know what was going on. That's so now Trump's bad for taking COVID precautions. What? I'm just trying to stick with you, bud. I'm just trying to stick with you. We've only gone like 30 seconds of you talking.
Federal government under Donald Trump, by the way, because a lot of this happened in 2020 and under the Biden administration. If you disagree with why they were pressuring it, to me, because that line is not perfectly demarcated, it's more understandable why the federal government would be urging social media companies to crack down on disinformation they believe will kill people. Well, just let me finish.
Yeah.
But they didn't believe it would kill people. They just wanted to sell their drug. That's the part that you're missing. That you think that because they said a thing, that's true. But then we take that to Mark Zuckerberg, and he said a thing. Well, how do you know? I cannot. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words. At how pathetic this is just. I'm at a loss for words. I apologize, but I will say hello to our boy Schwab. Welcome to the party. And loving the meltdowns and loving all the shit that has been done in such a short time. Trump got shit done before January 20th as well. Yep. Keep passing Trump pens. I love it. Those giant ass pens with that giant ass John Hancock. I love it. Matthew said, yeah, how can dude quote the Twitter files, but only the one tweet Trump had removed, but none of all the shit Biden had to do to all conservatives? Because it's not about truth. It's about winning. It's about winning in the moment. If you win in the moment, that's all that matters. It's just a game. This doesn't affect real people in these people's minds. It's just a thing. It's just a game to play. And if you have to be a little, if you got to tug on the jersey a little bit, then, that's what we're here for, to win, not to make people's lives better, not to understand the truth, but to win at any cost.
Social media companies to crack down on disinformation they believe will kill people. Well, just let me finish.
Yeah.
As opposed to the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, pressuring a social media company because a celebrity insulted him.
Yeah. So how does that refute what Andrew just laid out? That, yeah, okay, it's stupid if he doesn't like it, but it's worse to build a narrative. That was what's on the table. And you're like, yeah, but one's more stupid. Okay, yes, I agree. One is more silly than the other. One is very, very fucking serious. All of them. Well, you can keep that one.
It is indefensibly stupid.
Okay, first of all, there's far less.
You set me up, King. You set me up for that one. But yeah, the CDC, the FDA, the WF, the WHO, JFK, MLK. Give us all the acronyms. I got that. Well, I mean, she's Columbia, but hey, tomorrow, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, actually, she just texted me. I got to text her back, actually.
Insulted him. Yeah, that is indefensibly stupid.
Okay, first of all, there's far less. We finish our exchange, dude. You'll get a chance. You'll get a chance, dude. You'll get a chance.
Let me quickly.
We're almost done with our exchange. Calm down.
How long is it going to be?
So anyway, look, this will be the last thing, okay, Luke, and then we'll take it over to you.
Right.
Anyway, this is called rational discussion. I know it's hard for you, but anyway, I think it's fine. I think it's fine to make the criticism. I don't want the president to call and ask to take down a tweet. Fine. Again, though, when you're talking about narrative building from the Justice Department, contacting Facebook itself, trying to construct a narrative, how much more fascistic can you get, authoritarianism can you get, then there's a counter narrative out here about COVID. There's a counter narrative here about some of the therapeutics. And by the way, Zuckerberg has since said some of the things that they were saying on the counter side were true. And they were asking us to take these things down. And we complied. And it's like,
not a damn thing, Carl. Not a damn thing. So Jeff was here earlier. The first chat that we got, he wasn't here by the time I came in. Come on, go to the top. And he said, "Did you hear about Destiny?" I did not hear about Destiny. Does somebody have a quick, like maybe under 10-minute thing that can explain what's going on? We can take the side quest, but I'm not gonna, just because if he's going to jail, I'm about that. But yeah, and otherwise, just give me the TLDR. What happened?
ooh. And they were asking us to take these things down, and we complied. And it's like, that's pretty fascistic. That's pretty authoritarian.
Let me throw in one thing before we jump to Luke. I actually personally don't care for either story, COVID vaccine stuff. It's big, I get it, and targeting someone because they're personally mean to you is actually kind of worrying. The more concerning thing to me that often is missed was the censorship of Eric Charamella, which just by saying that name, YouTube might delete the stream.
All right, so we're gonna speed through this. Just because I want to know what's good. We're gonna speed through it.
It's like nobody cares, and they just keep coming, crossing the border with their 30 families, playing their...
And of course, we are hitting the like button because that's what we do on videos that we watch.
Stupid music. I mean, look at them. I'll bet not one of them is here legally.
Any of these places gets shot or whatever okay, because they had no problem making fun of Paul Pelosi. The entire world would be better off if these people were permanently removed from these platforms.
We should have put up with them. Wow.
That's
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering End. Popular leftist streamer and debater, Destiny, who has said obviously some heinous things about Trump supporters, including that Corey Compratore deserved what happened to him that day.
Shout out to Sponsor Block
In Pennsylvania. Looks like if you just give things enough time, these leftoids always...
Hey, shout out to Arrow, waking up like, oh, whoa, Destiny going to jail? Word up. So while outside the museum, Infinity goes to a trial. Well, there you go. Welcome to the party. It just said Destiny shared nudes and yuck. Word up. All right, let's see what he got.
Seem to prove you right about them. He is now facing what is likely to be criminal charges for being a total degenerate. And those involved, this has been brewing for a while. I hadn't reported on it because the women involved, I didn't want to bring them extra heat. But now one of the women has come forward and started crowdfunding money off of it. So I say that's fair game. I don't like Destiny. I think he's very good at debating. You cannot like somebody and admit that they have skill in one thing. But he's also very disingenuous and has seen a pretty tumultuous career. And this is a guy who has a teenage son who's out here on the internet doing these things.
In case you just joined us, we're going back to the fire. I just need to see what's good.
Not a great role model. Probably should have used a VPN when he was using things. So before we see from many viral clips, and he's probably got a different kind of virus too, but the many viral clips on the internet of him debating people. And again, like I said, he can be pretty good at that. I don't think he is honest, but he is good at what he does. Well, it turns out now there's been a police report filed against him because he has leaked without their permission certain videos, the type of videos that I might be talking about. In fact, the claim is that he filmed several women, some with, some without their consent. And on top of that, distributed those videos, which is a crime. That is revenge porn. And now these videos, of course, have made their way to the internet. If you want to look for them, they're out there. Obviously, I don't.
Come through to the after party. But of course, these fucking degenerates.
I don't think you should, especially because these women were not involved. These women were not willing participants.
Sherry just said she filed her police case, and that's what I can tell you guys. So she filed her police case.
So allegedly, there are multiple people. Now, I will share Destiny's, as much as I dislike him, he has shared a statement, and you're innocent until proven guilty, although the videos exist. I mean, you can find them. So one of the women who goes by the name of Pixie has now started crowdfunding off of this, which always makes me think that they're a real victim. But that's neither here nor there. Generally, when somebody rushes to raise a bunch of money, I always say, hey, you better file a police report. So at least this individual has filed a police report. So this streamer and YouTuber has raised nearly $30,000.
Hey, there he is. Welcome back, Jeff. I said, who didn't expect Destiny to make these kind of headlines? I definitely did. I thought that despite all the debauchery, his intellect still had some value, but I've been wrong before and I will be wrong again. Welcome to the party.
To sue Destiny. Incidentally, on the same day, a police report was supposedly filed against Stephen by the content creator Sherry for sharing spicy audio recordings without her knowledge or consent. So that's two different people. It's been a few days since Pixie revealed that she would be suing Destiny. In one of her most recent posts on X, she reacted to a Twitch streamer, Central Committee, don't know, don't care, announcing that the
All right, so we got the story that he's spreading stuff he shouldn't be spreading. No bueno, no bueno. Let's see what we missed here. Guante said, "I'll give it a couple months to hear that Vosh also gets hit by the law and Hassan gets his ass kicked or does something to get canceled." Well, bro, you've seen the video. I mean, Hassan can take care of himself. Not. Hey, shout out to Carl. Surprise that tips one more time. Said he's got to go, but he's going to drop a treat for Morty. Guys, that is 3. Don't we? Oh, I messed up the first one. That's 3 out of 10, 7 more. And I'm on the floor. Thank you, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sole sponsor of the stream. All right, let's dive it back in here.
Personally, don't care for either story, COVID vaccine stuff. It's big, I get it. And targeting someone because they're personally mean to you is actually kind of worrying. The more concerning thing to me that often is missed was the censorship of Eric Charamella, which just by saying that name, YouTube might delete the stream. When
say it then. Shit, this is why I came all this way.
Yeah.
I think
just say Eric C. Yeah.
We'll send you the broadcast.
No.
Point needs to be made. When an employee of the CIA, I believe he was an employee, but when someone working with the CIA released information that resulted in the impeachment of Donald Trump, and the Real Clear Investigations released the report that the individual had been identified by as Eric Charamella, every major social media platform, I think Twitter did not do.
Yeah, like especially all of us covered this, Tim. Like, chill out.
This at the time would censor any information with that name without warning, without a strike, just simply remove it. So I think when we look at the censorship of big tech, we can talk about public.
Said, take that, stealing the sponsor spot. Thank you, sir.
Information like COVID vaccines. It is particularly worrying to me that Facebook in all.
Oh, I think I missed a couple here. Let me make sure I got everybody. You guys know all of your chats are very important to me. I said I've been listening, roaming around the internet, and I whisper, screaming because, oh my God, I hear you. Like I said, I'm just saying that's what the theory was when all this was breaking with what Aaron, I'm going to assume you guys are talking about your own stuff. All right. Arrow said, you know how you forget about something in the fridge and then you find it and have to peel the mold off the lid to know what it is? Oh, yeah, that was ricotta cheese from 2022. That's the internet. Fair enough. I will accept that.
And talk about public information like COVID vaccines. It is particularly worrying to me that Facebook, in all of this, especially with the story, they had a portal made for the feds to report quote unquote misinformation. We're actively censoring stories of deep political merit, and they still have never accounted for it or answered for it.
Yeah. So let me.
And Zuckerberg says he was coerced.
Let me jump in.
He said he felt coerced.
Yeah, but does he have evidence?
So as Jessiah and I mentioned, we're not really interested in being blindly partisan as some folks are. And so if
really, because you're doing a great job at that, not anything else, but you're doing a great job at being blindly partisan.
You have an example of the Biden administration crossing a line, we'll just denounce it. Strange that you want to do the same with Trump.
Projection! Holy crap! Holy crap! Holy crap! We all just said, yeah, the thing with the Chrissy Teigen, we don't like that. You're the one defending taking down actual COVID relevant information. Again, speechless. King said, I wonder if all of them hung out for a bit after the show. Oh, definitely. Yeah, we don't want to, but I will. It's the worst.
Have an example of the Biden administration crossing a line, we'll just denounce it. Strange that you want to do the same with Trump, which is a part of what I'm trying to flesh out here. But whenever the case
and the attitude, I don't know why. I'll just do this. I don't know why you won't do that. Like you talk like a little girl. Say it with your fucking chest. If you think they're beating around the bush, stop beating around the bush and answer this question. But you just want to have a bunch of stuff out there, and like I think this is like this way, and it's like the dots. And well, you guys don't. Shut the fuck up and say something. And I know exactly what I said, and I meant it. Shut the fuck up, and/or say something.
Strange that you want to do the same with Trump, which is part of what I'm trying to flesh out here. But whenever the case was brought to the Supreme Court relating to some of this with Facebook, you might remember, and they ended up ruling against the plaintiffs who were saying they were unfairly censored because of the government being involved. And one of the things they found out was that the social media platforms, long before government was asking anything on COVID misinfo, already was implementing a terms of service stuff on that. And you can have an issue with that. And in this new world where we have these platforms, all this power, we're going to be grappling over what the right term of service, probably not.
He's so concerned about being right that he's not even talking properly. You're not articulating what you're saying. You're rushing through what you're saying. Like, you have to do this and that's slow. I haven't spent, this is at normal speed. This is at normal speed.
Anything on the
well, let's actually try to break down what the fuck he is saying.
Thing with Trump, which is
so
part of what
we'll denounce Biden, but you won't do a Trump. And I don't know why, but that's what I'm trying to.
Whenever the case was brought to the Supreme Court relating to some of this with Facebook, you might remember, and they ended up ruling against the plaintiffs who were saying they were unfairly censored.
Okay, so people thought they were unfairly censored, and they got ruled against
because of the government being involved. And one of the things they found out was that the social media platforms, long before government was asking anything on COVID misinfo.
Okay, so before the government had anything to do with the COVID misinfo,
already was implementing a terms of service stuff on that. And you can have an issue with that. And in this.
Okay, so the having terms of service that you shouldn't be allowed to say things. Yes, we can definitely have an issue with that. But it also happened after. So I don't really know what point you're really, what point you're trying to make. Just if you is a superpower. And knowing when to is also a superpower. Well, next, he says they'll call Biden out when he crosses the line. Fails to mention that they never drew the line in the first place. They literally cooed the man. They literally cooed the man and voted for the replacement. He is blaming Facebook for censorship, but also it's not Zuckerberg's fault, or we can't know for sure that Zuckerberg did anything at all. I think. He's losing energy. I mean, no, I think that's what feeds him. Oh, can I cook up some more bullshit? Yeah. Oh, I think he whacks off to the bullshit that he spins every night. I'm saying the only thing he's concerned about is being right. Yep. And good call. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Myron, but he's when your enemies are saying stupid shit, shut the fuck up.
COVID misinfo already was implementing a terms of service stuff on that. And you can have an issue with that. And in this new world where we have these platforms, all this power, we're going to be grappling over what the right term of service, probably not no terms of service, but certain rules, but we can all disagree on how that's structured. But whether or not it's like a violation of the First Amendment relating to the government getting involved, got slapped down by the Supreme Court because there's just not the evidence that the platforms felt coerced because
he said it, dude. He said it. What do you mean there's not enough evidence? What more? Okay, what evidence would satisfy you? What evidence? And I already know the answer to that question. It would have to be an email directly from joebiden.gov. Hey, I specifically know that this is true, but I want you to take it down anyway because I'm an evil dictator. That's the only thing he would accept. It's fucking pathetic. It's sad, but it's pathetic that people walk around and just believe whatever dumb shit comes their way. This is why dogma is a fucking problem. It has nothing to do with God or Christian. It's this. It's the same fucking thing. You just have a better dogma. And trust me, I much, much, much prefer the Christian dogma to this. But you cannot tell me it's not dogma, and this is how you end up there. This is how you end up there.
You will look at the percentages, even in portals like this one, where they would say,
good call, both of you.
Hey, we think this violates your term of service. And the platforms would go, no, it doesn't. Yeah. And they would say no. And then the
facts, King. Yep. If everybody, no evidence necessary. It's just all of the people that he either respects. I don't know how much where that really falls in terms of if he's paid or if he really is this fucking stupid. The people he respects and the people that respect him. If they said, "Oh yeah, it was this," then he would go along with it. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, King.
where they would say, hey, we think this violates your term of service. And the platforms would go, no, it doesn't. And they would say no. And then the government would go, all right, that's what we can do.
This is
I
new.
mean,
So
censorship in general is a problem.
Well,
My
this is
position
new
censorship is
stuff.
bad.
What we're talking about now. This is new stuff which is coming out.
That's all they know about. He was born in 2002.
Zuckerberg whistleblowing about a bunch of stuff we did not previously know.
Right.
You're referencing stuff that has come out multiple years ago. What I'm saying to you specifically here is that there's no way for you to say, if you're going to say Trump is an authoritarian, he's evil, he's there to curtail the media, this type of thing. If the Biden administration's working in tandem, their Justice Department, trying to be coercive to Mark Zuckerberg to censor off information, specifically from conservatives, by the way, they were the ones who were mostly trying to give a counter narrative on the COVID-19 stuff, different political stuff, the J6 stuff. He said he was approached by the DOJ on all of these different things, and so was Facebook. It sounds like they're trying to create a narrative within one of the largest social media company platforms, which is out there, which benefits their administration. How much more authoritarian can you get than that?
And they banned Trump off everything right after.
Yeah,
Like they literally banned him. He got nuked
That was
off
while
the
Trump
internet.
was president.
That was while Trump was president, number one. But just
Oh, and that makes it so much better. That makes it so much better to censor a sitting president.
just real quick on this.
Mhm.
So this, yes, he's referenced.
Like, I would stop them and be like, wait. What is the why did you say those words? What does that add to your side of the conversation? How does him being a sitting president versus a former president change anything about what we're talking about? I said, you just know Zuckerberg has a Japanese sex robot as his significant other. It wasn't he banging some like I forget who it was, but someone legit. I thought Zuck gets it in.
And seeing a Supreme Court case, which could you agree? You're right that the Zuckerberg revelations
Yeah,
are relatively recent.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's my question.
Sure.
Do you?
Oh, finally, we're getting to a question. 30 minutes in, and they're actually going to have a question. Well, let's hear the question first.
Trust Mark Zuckerberg. Here's the reason why. I know you don't.
So they're going to use the fact that because you can't trust this guy to be fair in general, that when he says a specific thing, that like, oh, well, you don't know. That's where he's going with this. No, I don't trust him in terms of being able to be somebody who is going to carry out, the most consistent things that were no. But do I think that he's going to go on Joe Rogan and just completely lie about a president that's walking out of office? No, I wouldn't. I would need a reason or evidence to think that.
Here's my question.
Sure.
We've been saying the same thing.
Do you trust Mark Zuckerberg? Here's the reason why. I know you don't, Tim.
Fuck no.
I know.
No way.
I know this.
Zuckerberg, man.
So I think it's important because a lot of people who even now are happy that Zuckerberg is adopting a more MAGA posture, for example, they don't trust him. They call him a fair weather friend because wherever the political winds blow, is it
right? But that doesn't change anything. Because we're not trusting him again in the same way we talk about politicians. We're not trusting them to be our friends. We're not trusting them to watch over our pets. We're not trusting them to inspect our food. We're trusting them on a very narrow scope of topics. Kingston Inherent was lying to the government would be if he was lying, the government would be going after him for saying what he said. Hard to argue with that.
for example, they don't trust him. They call him a fair weather friend because wherever the political winds blow, is it possible?
Unlike yourself,
especially because as far as I know, he's not produced any corroborating evidence that he's bullshitting just to try to ingratiate himself with you.
Yeah, so you have a couple of problems here, which is what would his motivation actually be to do this? So to be fair, do I trust Zuckerberg? No, of course not. I don't trust any of these tech giants. That includes Elon Musk.
Yup.
I don't trust him either. But here's the thing, right? People do have motivations for the things they do. What would Zuckerberg's motivation be in expressing? And by the way, he began expressing this before he knew what the outcome of the new election was going to be even. Okay. He was expressing this before that.
Yeah, but he didn't drop any of these sort of
So the thing is what is his motivation here for explaining that the Department of Justice is reaching out and trying to censor various conservative content, except that he wants to be freed from the yoke of governments approaching Facebook and doing this because it creates all sorts of problems for him in his market, right? He actually has more of an incentive to tell the truth about this than he does to lie.
He also has more of an incentive to allow more free speech on his platform because that means more money. That means more people using. That means more people there. That means more content. That's what his job is. So the real question is, why the fuck were you letting the government get into your business in the first place? Not why did you finally do the right thing?
Well, I don't know if he's lying. I'm just saying, like, there seems to be.
I'm just guessing, maybe, I'm just trying to throw shit out there and maybe it'll stick. If you don't know that he's lying, then what the fuck are we talking about? Exactly. But for this, you're going to have to, for the poll, you're going to have to come up with your own one. But in terms of the debate, absolutely.
Be even on the MAGA side and understanding that he has a credibility issue, number one. Number two, as far as I know, he's not corroborated any of these claims, which perhaps he will in the future. And number three, I think that
so I was right. He by just saying it publicly on the biggest podcast in the world about the deep state. Just maybe, but I don't know.
He would have an incentive to say these things, certainly after the election, given that Trump won, but even before, when the outcome is in doubt, in order to, you actually said it yourself, to distance his social media company from any government intervention.
Yeah, but, which again would be good for any business.
But his incentive then would be to tell the truth about this. There could be, for instance, a guy like Zuckerberg has such a high profile. It would not surprise me if he was called in for congressional hearings, if they were running investigations into various forms of interference, things like this. He would need to actually have his story straight.
But he just said, like, but like that specific example, this big like headline explosive event where, they called me on the phone and, they were cursing us out. Rogan said, haha, those recordings would be sick. And he's like, no, we don't have any.
Yeah, because the government is not that. I mean, trust me, the government is stupid in many ways. But in fucking not indicting, incriminating themselves is not one of the things they're gonna do. For you to expect that, oh yeah, well, of course they would allow that to be recorded. If you didn't record it, then maybe it won't. It's not real. Come on.
Recording. So he's almost making claims specifically.
I'm not trying to get rid of him. I just don't trust him. I don't know. I mean, he's a tech billionaire. They all are.
That as of this moment, he can't possibly corroborate.
Yeah, and that's but the thing is, it's like I'm not disputing that he can't corroborate those claims at the moment, right? And like you said, evidence could go out in the future.
Right.
What I'm saying to you is, it's a matter of incentives. What's his actual incentive to lie versus telling the truth about this? Seems like he has more incentive to tell the truth about it than to lie about it.
He's
self-preservation.
He's doing this in line with donating, Meta donating $1 million to
Trump's inaugural fund.
Trump's inaugural fund, and also speaking more positive about Trump, and also hiring Dana White, like doing a lot of things that will make Trump,
which are inherently bad because. Oh no, you're just biased. Okay.
I like him more when Trump goes on video. Yeah, I think.
Is it possible, Luke? Is it possible that someone, anyone would just change their mind and see the juxtaposition between life before COVID under Trump and life after COVID under Biden and simply prefer the former? No, that could never happen.
I think this is in response to my threats. And so my point about bringing up that case was, I think he's just blowing it out of proportion, because every time.
No, yeah, you give a shit about that.
I'm about to
every time
respond.
You didn't like his heart going out to everybody moment?
When he's done.
Yeah.
Every time it's been sort of, there's been a chance to prove that there's this coercion going on. They can't, which is why I brought up the thing.
Again, because it's almost like the government is very good at not incriminating themselves.
He is bringing like new versions of the allegations, but they're just
what's with the quotes? Are they not new versions?
Overinflated versions of what they were saying before, which they can't.
Which would. So if they were the same as before, that makes that they're not true. If they were different than the things he was saying before, then that would make it true.
What? New versions of the allegations, but they're just overinflated versions of what they were saying before, which they can't prove, because in reality, unless something crazy comes out, that's not really the phenomenon that's taking place. But
why would it be crazy? Because the government is not typically in the business of incriminating themselves.
Stupid. I do want to just note that
I said maybe he's just tired of being under the boot, and he's hoping Trump can tear it all down and set him free to be weird again. Can you corroborate that?
both Jessiah and I have demonstrated on our own shows constantly that we can criticize the
let's
Biden
talk about
administration.
that.
I'm curious, and this is why we came
Hang
here.
on,
you can
before
defend
you shift it,
Trump's things.
before you shift it, I want to
feel like we
respond
just gave a very nuanced
briefly.
take on that.
Very
briefly.
I want to give you guys the final point on this topic before we move on. So if you want to hit it, or
I want to hit it real quick, and then
I'll go after you.
Okay. Wait, I gotta
point on this topic before we move on. So if you want to hit it, or
I want to hit it real quick, and then
I'll go after you.
Okay, so
Go ahead,
listen,
sure.
I watched your coverage of what you just talked about when you were talking about Trump threatening Zuckerberg, right?
That's another thing to remember. Wilson does his homework. You say whatever you want about him, but he does his homework.
You were reading or you were watching CNN pundits who were discussing this, and they left the critical part out, and so did you. Interestingly enough, Luke, which is where Trump said, if he's guilty of crimes, that was the actual tweet. If he's guilty of crimes, then we will take action. You left all of that out.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no, you
I
did.
You're right.
You did. You left it all out.
Wait, if who's guilty of crimes? What are they talking about?
And I know we're gonna move on, but just so you know, that's what Trump says every time. Obviously,
again, like if Trump is always saying a thing, why is that evidence that he doesn't mean it? I don't understand that logic at all. Who made a chat? What? I don't know what this means.
If MSNBC,
you left it off. You left it out on
Well,
purpose.
and he doesn't say take action. He said,
Andrew, I don't know. Again, it's very possible that he did not leave it out on purpose in the sense of being dishonest. He might just be that dumb. And if he was watching CNN, what do you want? Doing my best. That's what I'm here for, right?
Obviously, if MSNBC,
you left it off. You left it out on
well,
purpose.
and he doesn't say take action. He said imprison him for life. Man,
if he was guilty of crimes,
shouldn't he be guilty of crimes?
Oh no! Did the president say if you're guilty of crimes, I'm going to imprison you? Oh my God!
What crimes? Which crimes merit life imprisonment?
I will note that next time. I promise, because it does.
So you're saying that a president said if he's guilty of crimes, I'll lock him up forever. I don't even know what the context of what they're talking. I don't know what they're talking about. You can't put together that that would mean like big crimes and not like if he was caught with a dime bag, I'm gonna lock him up forever. Why are they always stretching for the worst interpretation of whatever they can find? Whatever he says, the worst way you can twist it up. I'm like, no, this is actually what he meant. No, he just said it like that. No, it's actually this. This is what he said. That's their mental gymnastics. And yeah, they're all fucking criminals. Exactly. That's an understanding that you should have before you come to the table. Because any of this stuff about Trump, like, okay, now let's talk about Biden. Okay, now let's talk about Obama. Okay, now let's talk about Bush for that matter. Let's talk about anybody else. So then what is the point that you're making? What value are you bringing to the table of this conversation? Nothing. Nerfing.
Oh my God!
What crimes? Which crimes merit life imprisonment?
I will note that next time. I promise, because it doesn't change the argument. Yeah. I stand by what I said. Yeah. I'll note that he said that's going to be his argument.
That's the crux, Luke. That's the crux. What's wrong with the president?
So, from what I'm gathering, they're talking about Trump was saying someone doesn't really matter if he's guilty of all these crimes. We'll lock him up forever. And in Luke's mind, and in Josiah's mind, it doesn't matter what crimes. He's going to go and do this and that and that and that and throw this person at any time he can. And there's definitely no crimes. And so because he says that if there's crimes, then that means that he's going to make up crimes. What? My brain hurts.
It's saying if you're guilty of crimes, I'm going to put you in jail. Nothing.
Would you grant that premise for Trump's convictions? Trump is guilty of crimes.
What?
Well, hey, they got pardoned, so it doesn't count. And thank goodness he got pardoned as well. King Nirvana said he only cares about winning, and the strategy is to use the creepiest logic. It's very bizarre. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the other side of the aisle, guys. This is who you, when not you personally, but again, when Christians and atheists on the right are bumping heads, then understand it's not us that you're fighting. It's the lefties.
Crimes.
Falsifying business records, 34 counts. He was found guilty in a court of
Oh
law.
my God.
No, but wait,
there we go. There we go.
No, listen to me.
That's his
But here's my point.
It's creepy too. It's crappy and creepy.
Yeah.
You can think that those charges are bullshit,
Mhm.
They are.
but this idea that, oh, it's no big deal if he's guilty of
And if
crimes.
the President Biden came out and said, if Trump's guilty of crimes, which he has, right, he should go to jail, which he has. Yeah, and you know what the liberals say? Hang on, the liberals go, yeah, absolutely.
I'll address this
It's
because
like, what are you talking about?
we can address this because there's a perspective issue. I think you
Well, a good job on Tim for being quiet all that time.
make a good point that saying if someone's guilty of crimes, behind this view that there's a fear Trump will levy false crimes is a legitimate concern. The issue with the perspective is
It's funny how Tim can make their argument better than they can.
people do not believe Trump is legitimately guilty of crimes.
Sure.
And so the argument is that Trump is saying legitimately guilty of crimes and the crimes that
Well, the crimes that they're for the election.
Trump has been charged with are illegitimate.
Yeah.
That's the perspective.
There's definitely
Well,
crimes.
I think
He
chooses to
I don't
say
think
that
so.
about
I think the
our
perspective
people.
here,
He has political differences.
I think the perspective here is they're saying, isn't it, if Trump says this, shouldn't you hold the same standard with Democrats? But we do. Biden has said this multiple times. Biden has said, if Trump's guilty of crimes, he should go to prison.
Yeah.
If this person is guilty of crimes, they should go to prison.
I'll just
Like they say it. You know what I mean? Like, what do you
I'm
mean?
not aware. I'm not
Right,
aware of
I can
Biden
see
ever advocating on Trump's
Of
guilt or innocence
course you're
publicly or saying that he
not!
should be.
Of course you're not, because that would be too convenient to the other side for you to be aware of what the fuck you're talking about. Your ignorance is your greatest tool. I haven't seen that. I don't know. I don't know.
Stupid.
Your incredulity is not an argument. The fact that you don't know something doesn't mean that you're right about it. I'm surprised that I have to say that out loud. I said if you're guilty of the crime of falling asleep when you should have been awake, audio slave. That's that. Oh my god.
I'm not aware of Biden ever advocating on Trump's guilt or innocence publicly or saying that he should be in prison. My understanding is he's been about as fastidious as a politician can be. Maybe there's some exception, but I'm not aware of it. And by the way, if
wait, Biden's been as fastidious. 10% for the big guy. If you don't fire him, you ain't getting the $1 billion. Yep.
fastidious as a politician can be. Maybe there's some exception, but I'm not aware of it. And by the way, if
Wait, you think that Democrat, the entire Democrat Party?
No, wait, whoa.
Biden too. Yes,
Andrew,
Biden too.
We've been having a good thing here.
Yeah,
wait. How do you talk about the Democrats in any relevant context and think that we're not talking about Biden, who's been an active Democrat for almost 50 years? Speechless.
Entire Democrat Party.
No, wait, whoa.
Biden too. Yes,
Andrew,
Biden too.
We've been having a good thing here.
Yeah, Biden too. If it is the case, okay, that
you guys have actually had the better thing, I'll be honest with you.
Any of these people come out and say, if Donald Trump is guilty of, like, wouldn't you guys say that? If Donald Trump is guilty of crimes, he should go to prison?
Wait, yes.
Like, what do you mean?
Let me just lay a little framework here. I agree. Of course, the statement is uncontroversial. If someone's guilty of crimes and they're, of a certain level, they should go to prison.
Yeah.
Okay, then what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Because that's all you've said so far. If it is the case that what Tim said, that you're worried about using that line as a cover to levy false charges, you have not said that. That's a reasonable thing to say. But you have to say it.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But
obviously,
any person who unjustly imprisons people says that. And so we're saying of the people Trump chooses to say they should be put in prison or say they should be locked up or say that they should be targeted by the government, it's a very specific set of people he chooses, which is when someone wrongs him politically, all of a sudden now he randomly mentions if you're guilty of crimes, you should go to prison. When they're not accused of crimes, there's no reason to believe they've committed crimes. He'll just throw it out. Obviously.
Yikes. That did not age well, Lukey. That did not age well. Let's just hear it one more time and keep Matthew's comment up there just to drink his...
Chooses, which is when targeted by the government. It's a very specific set of people he chooses, which is when someone wrongs him politically, all of a sudden now he randomly mentions if you're guilty of crime, you should go to prison. When they're not accused of crimes, there's no reason to believe they've committed crimes. He'll just throw it out. Obviously, that would be his justification. Zuckerberg committed crime, but he's just saying that to scare him because there's no reason.
That's an,
Okay, can you corroborate that? Do you have any evidence of that? Or are you just saying things yet again? Hey, shout out to Bill Bradley. Welcome to the party. So they just don't like Trump. They think Trump is Hitler. So no matter what Trump says, they all they hear is a Sieg Heil. And I mean, yes, but they're far enough down the rabbit hole to be able to somewhat articulate arguments. They're very bad, and they're not doing good at it, especially in the face of other people who are able to shoot down their stupid tactics. But like again, it's not retardation. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's fucking dogma. It's the fucking dogma. They work from Trump is Hitler backwards.
That would be his justification. Zuckerberg committed crime, but he's just saying that to scare him because there's no reason.
That's an interjection of an emotional state, not a provable one.
I don't see any difference between the.
All you're doing is interjecting your. This is how I perceive it. I perceive that he's politically targeting people because if you're guilty of crimes, you're going to jail.
I don't know why they're not bringing back the word corroborate. Can you corroborate that? Can you corroborate that? The CEO of a company said that he did a thing. Can you corroborate it? Yeah, he said he did the thing.
Yes, President, I'll just again throw you a bone here because maybe there's something out there that I.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yes, I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of Biden's.
And then watch. He says, "I'm going to throw you a bone," and then do something that a normal person should do in every single conversation.
Every statement he's made. If he ever adopted the same sort of posture that Trump did, of like
Fox News.
Fox News, a great example. Yeah. They had to pay $787 million in the biggest defamation settlement in American history because it was very possible that they would lose that case against Dominion. We've never seen anything like that in liberal media. Biden could have, by Trump's own logic, said, you know what? Fox just had to pay nearly $1 billion in a loyalty tithe to Donald Trump. We never sent MSNBC or CNN. So you know what? I'm ordering my DOJ to investigate Fox News.
Yep, Matthew spot on. Said their ideas have never been tested. The echo chamber debates don't sharpen you much. And it's interesting how, again, if you look at Luke's video, of the viral thing with him and I forget who else was there. It was him and Tim and someone else looking up the Enrique Tarrio thing. He did a whole long video. But actually, I was right. Like, I mean, you had a point there. You didn't really make it on the show. You didn't say the thing. And so being right in your own mind, but being unable to say it doesn't amount to shit.
We never sent MSNBC or CNN. So you know what?
I see them all. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, they're all in the same fucking club. Like, yeah, Fox is a little bit better because they like the guy that I like. But like to think that I'm going to sit here and defend Fox News. Like, what? Who? No.
Ordering my DOJ to investigate Fox News. Yeah. And if Fox News executives are guilty of these things, we're going to throw them away for life or imprison them for life. Biden could have said that. He didn't. And if he did say it, that'd be super fucked up because I do think
he didn't say a horrible thing. Oh my goodness. He only sniffed and possibly raped children, including his own daughter, but he didn't say a mean thing. Oh, wow.
Life. Biden could have said that. He didn't. And if he did say it, that'd be super fucked up because I do think what you're describing.
He thinks he just did a thing.
Prince of penis.
Well, what you're describing is
yikes.
Super for life or imprison them for life. Biden could have said that. He didn't. And if he did say it, that'd be super fucked up because I do think what you're describing
secret subpoenas.
Well, what you're describing
wouldn't surprise me.
What you're describing as an anodyne statement to me, it takes a sinister tone when it comes from a person in power. By the way,
a sinister tone. So it's an emotional state.
Well,
obviously,
it's an emotional state.
You could reject. I'm just saying that I would hold Biden at the same standard if he did some of that shit.
Yeah. Let's jump to this next subject. Donald Trump is expected to sign, I mean, some reports say 100 executive orders in a single day. It's going to be nuts. Many
I think it was 200, right?
of them pertain to drilling and energy. Joe Biden just banned drilling. I don't. They say it's
The nearshore.
the near shore. That it's going to be difficult to overdo. I'm sorry, to overturn those
Yeah.
orders. We don't know for sure. When Joe Biden first got in, he did two major things. He shut down Keystone and he banned fracking on public land. Trump wants to reverse these things. So I'm curious your guys' thoughts.
Yay.
Being soy liberals who believe in climate change, I mean, I would love to see a more at least diverse energy portfolio where we, try to embrace renewable energy as much.
Okay. When he, I mean, all right. I mean, at least he actually meant a diverse portfolio in terms of how you talk about portfolios. When he said diverse, I really thought he was going to talk about race. Like said, Trump really did prove that he was a dictator. Only on day one. And oh baby. Yeah, West 200. There we go. Simon Barr Sinister.
Diverse energy portfolio where we, try to embrace
Like a windmill farms, right?
renewable energy as much as possible. I will just say that energy production under Biden achieved the highest levels in recorded history, even compared to Trump's.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know what Trump is going to do. I don't
Including
know.
oil production, to be clear.
Yeah, so, including oil production. I mean, my God, at the end of his, I think, first year, he was signing lease and permits for drilling and fracking at a rate that was higher than under Trump. He was just
Guys, really quick, we are just past the 2-hour mark. If you would like to keep the party raging, you know how to do it. And of course, every donation comes with a treat for the Overlord. Feed my puppy.
trying to quell like new permits and
Love
leases
it.
because there was a huge backlog.
Got it.
So yeah, energy production's great under Biden.
I don't know. I mean, we're at a place where we needed those executive orders because of the executive orders, but I think we would be better off if we just didn't have, maybe not any, but if the way that they use executive orders, like that's just the way they govern now. It's just like, okay, you say you become a dictator on day one, all that shit stays for 4 years, and then somebody else becomes a dictator on day one. I don't like it. I understand why we need it to balance things out, but I don't like that we. I wish there was a different way to balance that out. That would be more ideal. Bill Bradley, he said energy storage from renewables requires mining rare earth metals. It's not green like they want to pretend, but it's not burning a gas. It's solar. It's wind. Don't you get it? Climate change.
How dare you?
How dare you? Am I doing a good job of acting like a liberal? I said Trump is making big trouble for moose and squirrel.
What?
Compared to even Trump, I don't know what it is about these particular EOs that's going to be so difficult for Trump to undo with a stroke of a pen. Because my understanding is, if the president signs it with an EO, it can be revoked pretty easily with an EO.
Oh, Biden's was invoking like a old law, which is why. However, that was.
Oh, so it wasn't done. Okay,
with
gotcha.
the other ones.
Yeah.
Bill says executive orders can only be used to impact things in the purview of the executive branch. What they show is just how much power the legislative branch has given to the executive branch. Well said. Well said. We have 3 branches for a reason. Let's hack and use them, please.
Old law, which is why. However, that was.
Oh, so it wasn't done. Okay,
with the
gotcha.
other ones.
Yeah.
I think Biden should get a lot of credit with that. The crazy thing is, as Trump was going out, a part of the deal that he was.
That's right. That's all right. Let's bring that up again, just in case. Biden, just in case. We can talk all the live long day about what has and has not been done, but before we even get to that, it's very important to understand that this just happened, and you probably have seen this already. If you already have, then sit tight because we know it's worth it, and if you haven't, this may be, if corroborated, the biggest scandal of the entire presidency.
I do stand by it, and I say this without any personal animus at all. I mean, in some ways, I actually kind of feel sorry for Joe Biden. I mean, he's in the twilight years of his life. He is not obviously has not been in charge for some time. And I know this by personal observation, and now the whole world knows it. And it's been very, very concerning to me over the last, year and a half since I've had this.
Can you
position.
tell us the story when you say personal observation? What
well, I
kind
mean,
of thing did you see?
it's public now because the Wall Street Journal got it and put it on the front page. But January a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I had been asked. I became speaker in October 2023, and there were all sorts of big national security concerns and everything going on. And I started requesting a meeting with the president because I'm kind of old school. I'm a constitutional law guy. Speaker of the House should be able to talk to the president, especially in times of great national interest and calamity. But they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving me excuses. This went on for like 8 or 9 weeks. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, he doesn't have time. What are you talking about? I'm second
like
line
my
of the
new
presidency. He has time. I need to talk to him. We had, I can't say the classified parts, but we had some big national concerns at the time that I was losing sleep over. Finally, I just went to the Hill press corps and I said, the president is not being allowed to meet with the speaker. There's a problem. So they started putting pressure on him. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the president. It's also Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, the CIA director, everybody. And then
which is shady enough. But
I walked in the Oval and I know what this is. They're going to hotbox the speaker on Ukraine funding. That's what it was. This is probably third week of January. We sit down, we're in the midst of it, and the whole conversation, and I'm going, we don't need to have this conversation. The president reaches over just like this. We're sitting right next to the fireplace in the Oval, and he grabs my arm and he says, the speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Will y'all just leave us alone? And I looked up on the faces of some of the staff sitting on. They're like, no, he did it. So he called it. He's the commander in chief. So everybody.
So before anything is said, all of them know, oh, this is going to be bad.
Leaves. He and I are standing awkwardly in the middle of the Oval Office, right over the rug by that coffee table. And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard, and I think you know. And what do we do? But first,
all right, guys, I'm telling you, if you have not heard this, this is groundbreaking.
Real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand. Liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order 3 weeks ago. He goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the export terminal in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed.
Who is or has been running the fucking country? That in and of itself, I understand. Like, I agree with Mike Johnson. I kind of feel bad a little bit, but not enough to, pass the buck. That's your fault. You ran for president knowing your fucking brains were mush. Or maybe not, and it's Jill's fault. Either way, it's not my fucking fault. You're in the fucking Oval Office. And nothing.
Biden should get a lot of credit with that. The crazy thing is, as Trump was going out, a part of the deal that he was making with Saudi Arabia,
I should literally get no credit. Oh, we're getting a hungry dance. Come on, don't let them starve, guys.
And Russia. We can pull up the specifics. It's been a long time since we've reviewed them, but was to reduce oil production because of the collapse
before COVID, I think. Yeah.
So a lot of the recovery to get back to the energy production we were before was pandemic related, in part deals that Trump was making to try to help the oil industry. Some made sense because of the collapse of the oil industry, but I will.
Oh, I missed a bunch of these. Let me grab what you guys are saying here. Bill said the issue is in our system. Regulatory bodies generally create their own regulatory policies, which means the next executive can alter those policies with an executive order. And that's why I don't like it. Again, I understand why we need them now because they've already been there fighting fire with fire, the whole thing. But not a beautiful word. Quantic said, I'm interested in the mRNA early detection and vaccine for cancer. Trump opened the door to, as long as it's tested thoroughly and not mandated. But I'm apparently an anti-vaxxer, so how could I be interested in mRNA technology? There goes that double think again. You just don't understand yourself, all right? You stupid person, you're supposed to hate that. You're supposed to hate it because it's good or no. I get it. It's because you're just a sycophant for Trump. You said Trump opened the door. Anything Trump does, you'll fucking love it. What a loser you are. Oh my God. Have some thoughts for yourself. Is that what Luke would say? King Nirvana said it's so believable. It makes sense. It has to be true. Well, it would be fine if they did that in both directions. It would be fine, but they don't. I hate when they do that. But I appreciate the effort. Thank you. Musain said, in my opinion, Jill needs to be brought up on charges for elder abuse. I agree. I agree. All right, let's dive back in here, guys. Don't forget, we can also use CashApp, Venmo, and PayPal if Super Chat.
That Trump was making to try to help the oil industry. Some made sense because of the collapse of the oil industry. But I will say Biden's doing a good job of both trying to progress green energy initiatives while not rocking the system too much energy-wise, and that's why oil production is still so high. But we're getting green energy incentivized so that as we transition off, it's the least economically painful, but we can get there.
So they want you to think
there's not going to be a transition off. So that's a long day away. And one of the reasons for that is because of logistics with semi trucks. You need the diesel engines, and that's that. So the thing is
you just wait till the first Prius.
When you're talking about,
you just fucking wait.
When you're talking about fracking and things like this, yes, that is true. I agree with you that that Biden does have high energy output in the nation, but Trump got all that ball rolling.
I wouldn't be surprised, Arrow. I would not be surprised. That if Congress passed an actual law that cannot be undone with an executive, if Congress passed an actual law that cannot be done with it, that's half the sentence. If Congress ratified joining the Paris Accord as a treaty, Trump would not be able to back out unilaterally, for example. But yeah, that's exactly the point, is that the laws are supposed to go through Congress and go through the legislative branch. And I mean, hey, if you got my address, send it on through, baby. Send it on.
Biden does have high energy output in the nation, but Trump got all that ball rolling when he moved into the fracking sphere. I mean, that was a big thing for him, and he brought it out in a big way. And yes, did Biden was he able to capitalize on that? Sure, he was able to capitalize on that, but you can't take that away from Trump. That he definitely pushed fracking in a very big way. The thing is about that type of energy, right? It's not even that detrimental. It's not that detrimental. What I would like to see,
and it's not gonna be in my lifetime, and maybe not even our kids' lifetime, and it might not be like it's not even something that is like that we need to specifically look forward to X, Y, and Z. Like there never needs to be a world where fossil fuels are over. I mean, maybe. Like I'm not saying we can't have that, but we don't need that. We don't need that at all. Hey, Arrow got it through. Thank you so very, very much for the super sticker. I see it there. It is so cute. And of course, a treat for Morty. And keeping the party raging. And the new sponsor of the stream, Arrow. Thank you so very, very much. Super stuck the landing. The party rages on. Thank you so very much. Let's keep going, baby.
Right? It's not even that detrimental. It's not that detrimental. What I would like to see, and here maybe we can find jobs too. Maybe we can find some common ground here. I'd like to see
Andrew soy as fuck.
I'd like to see a switch to nuclear energy.
Yes,
that's the cleanest.
Yes.
That's the cleanest.
But Chernobyl, Andrew.
Yeah, but that's all Soviet.
Wait, what did he say? Did he? No, he did. I'm gonna hope that was. I'm going to decide that was a joke.
That's the cleanest. Yes. That's the cleanest.
But Chernobyl, Andrew.
Yeah, but that's all Soviet panic mongering done by guys who are like the fascists, the communists, the fascists. See? It's done by you guys. But anyway,
nuclear energy.
We should move over to complete nuclear energy.
Yeah,
and we should do that immediately. There's no good reason not to. The chances that we're going to have these meltdowns, things like that, they're very, very rare. When they do happen, we do have things we can do, which is bury it usually. But the truth is that it's very, very safe. It's very safe.
I totally agree.
Can power everything. It seems like it's a very good way for us to, there's the great compromise. Whether you believe in global warming, you don't believe in global warming, doesn't really matter, because both sides can agree on the fact that nuclear energy is the best way forward, and it will reduce the greenhouse emissions so that you latte soy fuckers can be happy, right?
You mean we latte soy?
Oh yeah, I forgot that fucking Myron was even there. Oh my goodness. Oh wait, I missed this one. But so there's not half a sentence. Okay, so if Congress passed an actual, so a comma would help. If Congress passed an actual law, comma, that can't be undone with an executive order. The comma, this is half a sentence. If the Congress passed an actual law that cannot be done with an executive order, that's half a sentence. You add the comma and you're good. Anyway, Bill says we can come off almost all fossil fuels in a matter of years if we really wanted. Nuclear can run our grid, and hydrogen could run our vehicles. I've been hearing about that forever. I remember when my brother first went to college. I think he was a freshman or something. It was newer. He had a friend who had a car that ran on vegetable oil. And one time we went, my family went to visit my brother at college, and we were talking to his roommate that had that car, and he was like, yeah, the next thing is it's going to just run on water. And I don't think it was actually I think it was hydrogen or water. But yeah, I've been hearing about that forever, and I do not understand. Well, I mean, I understand the lobbies for the fossil fuel, but you think that would be a little bit further along 20 years later. MLC9 said regarding the regulating bodies, the Supreme Court put the nail in the coffin when they ended Chevron deference. Congress must make the rules, not the industries. Great. Bill said Chevron being overturned by the courts does not mean the Administrative Procedures Act went away. I don't know what that is. The regulatory bodies will still create their own policies. How do we fix that? I don't have an idea. You guys help me out. King said, I gotta say out of place, but I'm still happy for what?
So that you latte soy fuckers can be happy, right?
You mean we latte soy fuckers, asshole.
And then on this side, I get cheap energy so that straight guys can go have families, right? So everyone's happy.
Yeah, so I'd love you to be on the same page with climate change, but honestly, I don't give a fuck. You're right. I mean, who cares what the motivations are? At the end of the day, we agree on policy.
Yeah, I will say, y'all agree that a lot of the right was lying
which is exactly my point when it comes to atheism and religion. As long as we have the same conservative values, right? It doesn't fucking matter where they come from, as long as you genuinely agree.
At the end of the day, we agree on policy.
Yeah. I will say, y'all agree that a lot of the right was lying about Biden's energy record, right? Because I still hear the energy production crushed under him, and oil production. He stopped oil production.
There's not a single fucking oil rig working in this country. Shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big part of my economic message.
I mean, you're attacking positions. You should attack the positions of people in the room with you.
I'm not. Yeah, we're not attacking.
That's what I'm saying, guys. How am I supposed to know what the fuck that is responding to? All you gotta do, Myron. I'm gonna know exactly what you're talking to. We had this. We had Chevron deference. We had the super chat. We had the half a sentence. We had major development. We had nuclear stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I cannot remember all of the things. Help me out.
I mean, you're attacking positions. You should attack the positions of people in the room with you.
I'm not. Yeah, we're not attacking.
Not the positions of some obscure right winger.
Really hostile. I feel like I'm being very nice right now. So
Bill says Congress cannot pass a budget most times. Them having to come up with every regulatory policy for every regulatory agency in this country would take them 1,000 years. So we're saying that there's too much of this being on Congress and not allowing them to focus on what would be better for them to focus on. Is that what you're saying? Arrow said, Dad built 2 geodesic dome dwellings from a kit. Well, the family and friends did it from the footings up. He was a Bucky Fullminster advocate. Not sure who that is, but it sounds like it's in the energy sector, and that is definitely where we need to come together. I agree with Andrew there. I think that's the perfect way. Like, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter as long as we agree on the policy. Glenn said, "Oh my God, they're finally finding common ground," and Luke just has to come in and remind them that, remember, conservatives bad, Biden good. Fucking loser. That's what they do. Because again, it's not about making people's lives better. It's about winning. It's about getting clips. It's about feeding your ego. It's about looking good in front of other people. It's not about helping anybody. It's about ego. Oh, my own farts, they're so amazing. Oh, God. Somebody clip that. Bill Bradley said that is why the Administrative Procedures Act came into place, because Congress can't get their crap together to do their job efficiently. That was my point. Fair enough. And it definitely, yeah, I mean, I don't know fully what you're, I'm not, fully, I don't remember all the details on Chevron deference and this Administrative Procedures Act, but you're making a lot of sense, sir. I am inclined to trust you. You tend to know a little bit more than I do. I said, Dad built a straw bale home that took him 6 years. He lives off the grid, solar and photovoltaic, and is against nuclear power. Oh, why is that? I mean, he don't have to use it, but the rest of us want it.
Some obscure right
like
winger
really
somewhere.
hostile. I feel like I'm being very nice right now. So yeah,
You guys are gonna be friends.
A lot of my economic message on
Definitely
Biden or analysis
We're gonna be.
does relate to. He actually has a really strong economic record. I would love to talk about that. Some of it's out of his hands. Like, I think the Fed did a really good job of managing interest rates and getting us out of.
We agree that the Federal Reserve should be
controlled by Trump. He has no judgment,
fuck
as he
you.
said.
Yeah.
Wait. That what?
Agree that the Federal Reserve should be
controlled by Trump.
I mean, small, yes. I mean,
fuck you. Yeah.
But there was a really successful. Which
was that Luke saying? Oh yeah, they should be controlled by Trump.
Which is why I think Harris lost.
Wait, you want the Fed? You want the Fed to stay separate?
Yes.
You don't want Congress to coin money again?
Well, no, I don't. I mean, separate from, like, not under like at will fireable by the president. I think there should be a degree of independence.
Why?
The way it currently is.
They're responsible for our money supply. They need to be answerable to our government.
Well, I mean, you could discharge the chairman of the Federal Reserve for cause, but I just don't think that they should be like a political appointee. I think that.
Okay, well, so let's just abolish the whole thing and go back to Congress being in charge of the money. And then just go back to the gold standard. Everybody loves gold. We're going to the Bitcoin standard, guys. Oh my goodness. You lived a very different life than I did. I like electricity too, but we had different experiences with it, apparently. I was just playing video games and listening to music and stuff. You're doing all this cool shit.
You could discharge the chairman of the Federal Reserve for cause, but I just don't think that they should be like a political appointee. I think that's
fair. Think about during times of, the reason that people thought that Biden was.
Wait, would you want to soy liberals like just like firing casually?
No, I think yes. If we're talking about the Federal Reserve, if we're talking about most federal positions, yes.
I think that Congress should be in charge of the distribution of money in the United States, not a private banking institution where you can have a single guy who can raise or deflate the currency at will.
Oh, come on. Duh.
That gives them so much unilateral power that they could be on par with the president of the United States when the entire world uses the dollar as the reserve currency. Having a single guy like Alan Greenspan who can say, here's this lever, we increase the money supply and inflate it, or we decrease it so that we can deflate it.
The control of interest rates can result in the president winning or losing an election.
I mean, it's total.
Well, that's what we're saying. Jerome Powell to try to.
Right. No, that's not why. He wanted to do. No, what Trump wanted.
Wait. They're saying throw him out and get a new guy that's going to do it better. The whole job is to control the money. That's the point.
Reason that Trump wanted interest rates low is because his economic advisors were telling him something which is true. The Midwest is starving for credit. Okay. This had Democrat governors everywhere, all over the place. And they have been putting this squeeze on manufacturing there with business taxes, everything else. They can't get access to credit. What happens when the interest rates go low? Well, hang on. What happens when the interest rates go low? Everyone borrows money. The credit is there.
Yep.
And so what he was doing is he said, not only are we going to cut business taxes by 30% for corporations, but we're going to give them an incentive to borrow money to expand, right?
And then
But if we want to give them incentives to borrow money, we got to have a lower interest rate. His entire economic team told him that. By the way, it makes sense. And by the way, they borrowed a shitload of money. And a lot of these businesses.
What's MMT? So Dems are acting like excuse me. What? Dems are nothing if not disingenuous. AOC believes in MMT. Modern monetary theory? Is that what that is? But they pretend to worry how pretended to worry how the Lake and Riley Act would be funded. Modern monetary theory says that you can print more fiat currency. That is why these progressives just want to print money. They all buy into MMT and think we have a fiat currency. We can just issue more currency in an almost unlimited way. I mean, I want to give them credit, be like to say like they can't be that like ignorant, right? But I think they are. Haha! I figured it out. So I've never been able to sit through a Tim Pool gig. Well, I mean, we ain't gonna finish, but we still rocking.
That, by the way, it makes sense. And by the way, they borrowed a shitload of money. And a lot of these businesses did expand.
Now,
please.
Was it? Like, please.
Well, this is gonna be bad. Whenever he's, oh, I got this, bro. I can be sure that, bro, you do not got this.
Can we please?
Well, no, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to. Will y'all then?
Please, can I do it? Nut the fuck up. Like, I was shy when I was a kid, but I went to, he's a liberal, so I assume he went to college. I remember being fucking 21 years old and realizing, oh, okay, I got to fucking, especially as a short dude, you can fucking say it with your chest. I bet you he's tall. That's how he gets away with being such a, almost such a fruit. Yeah, I said I'd rather Bill Maher. Maybe I'm a snob or I have life offline. I don't know, but yeah, I he can be a snob, but like when he knows some things, he's old enough to have lived through things, and so even when he's wrong about those things, he still has like just historical reference, historical information, and as bad as he can be, it's not this. It's not this. This is the new generation. Bill Maher had a kid out of his ass.
Well, businesses do that. By the way, it makes sense. And by the way, they borrowed a shitload of money. And a lot of these businesses did expand.
Now,
please.
Was it?
Please. Can I do it?
Please.
Please.
I just want to.
Can I do it? Please. Can I do it?
Was it? Like, please.
Well, can we please?
Well, no, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to. Will y'all then, regardless of that, because that's the whole thing, the stance on the Fed. But I shouldn't have thrown that in there. I'm just saying, will you acknowledge that whether it was Biden or his team or whatever, of the power they had, did a really good job managing the recovery out of the pandemic?
The first question I would ask is, as opposed to what? That's the first question. Because, like, are more people working now than were working during COVID? Sure. Well, sure. Does that mean what's the frame of reference we're talking about here? How? Let's hear it.
Whatever. Of the power they had, did a really good job managing the recovery out of the pandemic?
No.
Okay, because that's what I would love to discuss, because we did better than our comparable economies.
Let's just say it objectively. That
I can still see that
people of this country did not believe the recovery was good.
That's not that's their feeling. You're right.
Well, no, the economy was listed as one of the top issues, and Donald Trump did win the popular vote.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you that people
in,
believed it was
in
bad.
general, the people did not believe the recovery was good.
Yeah, but to
Yes,
me,
but
I
people-
agree. Yeah, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's no question that Biden was not able to persuade the majority of
Yeah.
Americans that his economic stewardship was good.
Because
Yeah, because that's what people need convincing on. Whether they have enough money, whether they like the cost of things. That's where you need to spend a lot of marketing because people just don't understand that $2 is more than $1. The level of not disdain, but the level of retardation you must think that everybody has. This is, I can only imagine that this is done in Kruger. That they understand enough to think they understand everything, but they don't understand enough to realize that they've only took the first step. That is peak Dunning-Kruger. They don't understand that his economic stewardship was good. You know why they don't understand that? Because they don't have any fucking money.
That Biden was not able to persuade the majority of
Yeah.
Americans that his economic stewardship was good.
Because prices went up as they did around the world, but we managed
Right.
to get it down faster than our comparable
The
economy.
rate of inflation.
Yeah, but
down.
people
Explain that to me.
believe the reason for that is like me and Myron were discussing this morning. You do realize economic.
That's like, before he goes into it, that's like if I destroyed your dinner table, right? And then I created a new table out of scrap wood in the backyard. And I brought it inside and I built something that kind of looked, functioned as a table. Be like, well, can we say that people who are homeless that don't have a table, people are doing better than that? What are you talking about?
For that is like me and Myron were discussing this morning. You do realize economics. I know you've talked to a Econo boy. He's a smart guy, right? And he'll tell you the same thing. It's faith-based. Okay.
Sure.
One of the things that's happened under Biden is a bunch of wars.
Yep.
Right. He's involving the United States in a bunch of wars. Now you can say they're justified for him to be involved in these, not justified for him to be involved in.
And wars are cheap, right? Wars are cheap. And that's what we just have to convince people that when we spend all this money and send it overseas, that, it's a good stewardship of economics. The Dunning-Kruger effect was best explained by Sam Bankman and is as follows. Well, that is quite a lead up.
In these, but it shakes people's faith. And
Wait, what was it?
Involved. He's involving the United States in a bunch of wars. Now you can say they're justified for him to be involved in these, not justified for him to be involved in these, but it shakes people's faith. And you have good shortages now, right? You have some good shortages coming from, Eastern Bloc country, possibly imports. I know, here's an obscure one, but ammunition to the United States from Russia, right? For like private consumption.
They need it right now.
for private consumption.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That has skyrocketed. Obama had outlawed it for a long time.
So Dunning-Kruger effect was best explained by Sam Finken and as follows. Dumb and stupid people are too dumb and stupid to know that they are dumb and stupid.
Bingo.
Yep.
So the thing is like, yes, it's faith-based. When you involve us in different wars, things like that, it shakes people's confidence. When we're not involved in foreign affairs, we're not involved in foreign wars, man, people feel way more comfortable when it comes to their spending habits, when it comes to expansion, when it comes to things like this, because they have that sense of...
Guys, if I could ask you a huge favor, if you are new here, please do hit that subscribe button. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So if you never want to miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. Thank you so very, very much. M69 said, breaking news, Pete Hegseth confirmed as Secretary of Defense. JD cast the tie-breaking vote. Dilly to that. It's insane to me. Not insane, but it's just wild to think about how the tie-breaking vote 3 months ago was Kamala Harris. Now we got JD Vance. Let's go. Bill Bradley said wars stimulate economic growth because defense spending goes up. It props up our GDP and economic. What's going on here? props up our GDP and economic recovery numbers. If we didn't have these wars, Biden would not be able to make the weak arguments on the economy he made. Well said. Well said. All right, guys, that is the 2.5 hour mark. You guys know how to keep the party raging.
It's a certainty.
My understanding is that consumer spending habits have been pretty incongruous with like the public's opinion on the economy. Like they spent a fuck ton during this holiday. It's like pre-pandemic.
There's a data point for clarification, though. I believe that was largely higher income earners were spending exorbitantly and lower income earners were not, which created an average or a median.
But we've seen that makes a lot of sense because people who had, people who, they all talk about income inequality, right? And so the people, that does exist. The middle class has been obliterated. So you're either poor as fuck or you're set. I'm being broad with that. But the people who have the money to have assets, those assets fucking skyrocketed. Those fucking skyrocketed. But then the people who had to buy stuff, everything got more expensive. That's how that works. And they don't understand it. But yet they will fight all the live long day about minimum wage and income equality and all that bullshit. Amongst9 said, no funds for a super chat, but I shared the stream. I do what I can. Thank you. And of course, guys, this is absolutely a free show. I am glad you guys are enjoying it for free. There is never a price of admission. I just ask that you hit the like button, but everything else is extra. Thank you so very, very much. Bill Bradley said, I can't wait for the mainstream media meltdowns tomorrow over the white supremacist Hexeth being confirmed. Oh, it's coming. It's a-coming. All right, let's ride
Income earners were spending exorbitantly and lower income earners were not, which created an average or a median.
But we've seen like in almost every single economic metric, a miracle coming out of the pandemic, including purchasing power.
Hey, thank you so very much, guys. It really does help. Thank you so much. Also, the Dems don't understand that households making under 50K are not feeling the good stock market. For Dems, everyone makes 100K, especially the women. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. What the fuck is this thing?
Exorbitantly and lower income earners were not, which created an average or a median.
But we've seen like in almost every single economic metric, a miracle coming out of the pandemic, including purchasing power getting back to what it was pre-pandemic, which is stunning given the price increases that were happening. I think the economic.
It's not a miracle.
I think the economic because
what happened?
My point. I've been really trying.
Okay, go ahead.
Really trying.
Yeah.
I will say so. We started outperforming even projections pre-pandemic. We outperformed our other wealth.
And who made the projections?
The country counterparts. We brought down inflation faster. We got purchasing power back. We got wage growth back. All these things.
Labor force participation. That's a crazy one. The highest.
Employment's low.
Yeah, it's kind of easy to get people to start working jobs when you take away their fucking jobs.
And so in Western country after Western country, you've seen sort of an anti-incumbent bias because of price increases, which makes sense because people don't know like what all the
they don't know as much as me.
Exact data points are. Understandably, they're just going, they're buying things, and they're
just stupid. Unlike me,
mad that the prices have gone up. But that doesn't mean that the management of the economy was bad. It means that there's been a effective messaging campaign to convince people the reason prices went up.
Okay, so we're gonna clip this. Somebody do me a favor. If you're on your phone, just screen record. It's not gonna be long, but I need this.
And they're makes sense because people don't know.
So when we talk about where's it gonna come up? The tariffs. So Guantanamo was talking about the tariffs, right? And all the fucking libs like, oh my god, the prices are gonna go up. Prices are gonna go up. Clip this. Whenever somebody and play it whenever somebody is talking about why the even though the price increases, it doesn't mean it's
in country. You've seen sort of an anti-incumbent bias because of price increases, which makes sense because people don't know like what all the exact data points are. Understandably, they're just going, they're buying things, and they're mad that the prices have gone up. But that doesn't mean that the management of the economy was bad. It means that there's been a effective messaging campaign to convince people the reason prices went up was because of Biden, when it was really
No,
a
dude, you
global
can't put it on.
phenomenon
You
that
can't put it
that he
on
did really well managing.
propaganda. You can't say the people were just propagandized into
I
believing.
think it's
that-
well.
So again, when it comes down, oh, you just don't understand, okay? You're too stupid. You're too stupid to see that higher prices is a good thing. The irony is that their price increases don't come with a tax decrease, where ours will. There we go. As we are here to pump you up. That's what I need. That's what I need. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bill Bradley said they brag about job numbers without realizing a good bit of it is people having to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. I'm not sure someone having 2 minimum wage jobs makes the economy look great. You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir.
Put it
He did
on
really well
propaganda. You can't say the people were just propagandized into believing.
I think it's
that,
well. I think you meant
that
it's
the
two
economy
things.
that the
Do you
economy.
acknowledge
hang
any
on,
of the points
hang
I
on.
made at all?
I'm acknowledging.
Can you corroborate anything that you said? Oh, people just don't understand because they're just not as smart as me.
So, well, I think you meant
that
it's
the
two
economy
things.
that the
Do you
economy.
acknowledge
hang
any
on,
of the points
hang
I
on.
made at all?
I'm acknowledging
Like deal with any of them?
what I'm literally going
Like
through.
why
all
do
of
we
this.
outperform the other countries? Why do we give?
Yeah,
those
okay,
numbers?
but
Why all
hang
those
on, hang on.
things?
Look, first of all, okay, let's go over it. Like real wages for.
I mean, as younger millennials and younger, this just ain't it. That's some boomer shit. Unfortunately, the world don't work like that anymore. The world don't work like that anymore. You can't. The means are not affordable, and I think if we take away child labor laws and minimum wage, then by the time people are 18, they might be able to, be a real person. But as the way things are set up now, most people still live with their parents by the time they're 30 because there's not enough real estate. There's not enough real estate of their prices, and there's not enough work for them to make any savings. So yes, in general, that is a good thing that you just don't live beyond your means. But if you only make $500 a month and it costs $600 a month to live, ain't much you can do. But again, we talk about these multiple job, minimum wage jobs. If you can work different jobs that are that don't have a minimum wage, and you can start at $3 an hour, you can work your way up. When companies have a minimum wage, they're just like, oh, well, minimum wage, we're done. You have to incentivize people to have a better pay structure, because if you're getting paid $3 an hour because your work is only worth $3 an hour, well, then you can get a job if somebody's willing to pay you $3 an hour. But if your work is worth $3 an hour and the minimum wage is $15, you're fucked. You're fucked. Whereas you can start this job at $3 and build all the way up, and there's no frame of reference of this is how much the basic bottom bit should get paid. It's not that simple anymore. And I wish it was. And again, just don't live beyond your means is good advice when you can do that. But kids today are not coming out of high school with that ability, especially if they're going to college. Bill said, when I have to choose between paying all my bills on time or keeping my refrigerator full when there's no messaging that, or keeping my refrigerator full, there's no messaging that will make me think I am doing well. Bingo. Exactly. I'll read that again since I fucked it up. Bill said, when I have to choose between paying all my bills on time or keeping food in my refrigerator, there is no messaging that will make me think that I am doing well. Well said, sir.
Countries, why do we give?
Yeah, okay, but hang on. Look, first of all, okay, let's go over it. Like real wages, for instance. If you look at real wages under Trump, they were the highest that they ever were. So real wages, it was on a trajectory to do this. So it's been on an upward trajectory under Trump. It was high. Okay. Biden has taken advantage of a lot of Trump's economic policies. Okay. He's been able to take advantage of many of them. All that happened here, it was not a big miracle like you're saying, it was miraculous. We were able to recover from this. Yeah, that's what happens when you take the chains off of industry and the chains off of people. What actually happened is this in reality.
Why did
the Biden administration was still pushing a narrative of masking mandates and other things that
You don't need to wear a mask. Oh, actually, you should wear 2 masks.
that was coming out of the CDC,
And I'm going to say whatever I want because I'm getting a pardon.
Fauci, and the rest of these individuals. Okay. Largely, they did not move those restrictions off. People just ignored them. They just finally said enough, and they just began to ignoring them.
They cannot mandate a vaccine if you will not wear a mask. They cannot mandate a vaccine if you will not wear a mask.
Right. They ignored them.
Yeah, but what restrictions? I don't remember like federal restrictions on like just the American people.
No. So what happens? What happens?
Thank you very much. I just wanted you all to, die of this. If you're not taking the vaccine, then you're killing everybody around you. Dylan said, Fauci sounds like he's constantly doing a Harvey Firestein impression. I don't know what that is. I apologize. Arrow said, I'm not buying it. A person can reduce their living expenses to the barest minimum. It's a matter of priority and or bettering your circumstances. You'll be tired, but you won't go hungry. And fair, but let's talk. You have to understand the culture that if everybody is doing this, then yes, it makes sense to look at the one person who's not and being like, hey, stop just fucking, blowing money on everything. But when everybody around you is working through whatever they can and not making shit, then the standard things that we all like, yes, you could turn off your phone. Yes, you could not have a car. Yes, you could do all these things. But let's not pretend that is something that we can expect your average 18-year-old to do. It's just that's not a message that is going to help them do better. Hey, look, oh wait, God. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 10 gifted memberships. We gotta give them a whole big block for that. Shout out to Funk Master General, co-sponsor of the stream. Thank you so very, very much. Shout out to Dabble Don Dada, Skenny J, Sonia Renee, Michael Cover, Project VO, Donovan, June Cleaver's Pearl Necklace, a little loony, Taylor Wooden, and gosh heck of fire. Guys, you just got access, thanks to Funkmaster General, to the entire Discord party. Make sure the link is at the top of the chat. Make sure you join, guys. That is what this really is all about, bringing us together and doing more than just sitting around. Yeah, this is fun, this is a good time, but we have more work to do. Come through if you want to do it. Thank you so very, very much, sir. With that, let's dive back in. The party rages on.
I don't remember like federal restrictions on like just the American people.
No. So what happens?
What happens? Plane without a mask.
Yeah. What happens is
wages are higher now.
The economy.
Federal regulation.
Yeah.
It's not.
No. I'm sorry. I to clarify, just to be clear, I know that there were some federal regulations, like I think on the military as well, like with vaccines.
Yeah.
No. I just mean like over the broad American populace.
No. All of
You don't get to work unless you get jabbed. That wasn't a thing.
this was part of a greater narrative of it's your patriotic duty to do distancing. It's your patriotic duty to not give people COVID, et cetera. You're going to kill grandma, right? This was all part of the kind of greater narrative, and it was very harmful to business.
Thank you again, Funkmaster General, and our other co-sponsor, Arrow. Both of you guys coming through for me and for everybody there. If you guys aren't joining, I don't know why I don't see any new people in the fucking Discord. You throwing money away. But I already got it, so we good, baby.
You saw that there was lots of big business winners and a lot of small business losers that came out of COVID-19.
So Bill Bradley said the CDC recommends shutdowns and states start doing shutdowns. Now this guy is like, when did the feds force businesses to close? Is that his argument? I think it is. I'm not sure because he's stupid, but I think so. Yeah, funky fresh. So you might have to travel outside your comfort zones to where opportunities are better. I'm a total fangirl of Aaron Clary. And yeah, I would be lying if I said it was impossible. That's not at all what I'm trying to say, but the notion of everybody having a car, having a phone, having these things that are standard, having to drive far to get to one job to go and then drive to get to another, it's just not the same thing. And especially when we get to rent and mortgage prices, it's just not the same thing. Shout out to Truth Bethy, Truth Be Thy Game. Welcome over on Rumble. Said had to check you out before bedtime. The Senate has been a long cathartic process. Hegseth in JD was the tiebreaker. McConnell, Murkowski, and Collins voted no.
How dare you?
If I didn't need any more reason to hate Mitch McConnell. What? I don't even care. He's in. But welcome to the party. Thank you for the information. And if you're going to bed, you have a good one. Truth be thy game. M169 said, oh, it was a thing. The only reason I got it. It saddens me. I'm not a pureblood. Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. Pure blood. Let's go, baby. Pure blood. Dilly to the pure bloods. But no, I absolutely understand, if you have a family, if you have things to do, they put you in a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad position. And people like myself who, I don't have a family to take care of. I don't have to provide for anybody but this motherfucker. And, do you guys help out with that? I was able to go my own way a little bit more. But, they made it very, very difficult for everyone. Bill's got to go as well. Thank you. You guys have a fantastic night. Thank you. Monkmaster said, the doctor is in. Yes, sir.
Big business winners and a lot of small business losers that came out of COVID-19.
So let me just clarify. This is a GPT generated image based on data. So take it with a massive boulder of salt.
All right, what do we got here? So here's a graph showing real wages adjusted for buying power from 2017 to 2025, accounting for inflation. This reflects true value, the true value of wages in terms of purchasing power over time. And we have, so you can see 2017, and it's up at the, what is it supposed to be? Real, so 50,000, and then as soon as COVID hits, boom, and of course, this was Donald Trump, because we didn't know what was going on, and then there was a little bit of a recovery because we were like, oh, okay, maybe this person go to work and that person go to work, and then but a great steward of our economics.
Stupid. This is a GPT generated image based on data. So take it with a massive boulder of salt. But it does correlate with data that I think Andrew has been pointing out, that a lot of people pointed out. I asked GPT to generate a graph showing real wages adjusted for buying power from 2017 to 2025. Yep. You can see that when COVID comes around, it does drop significantly. It increases in the last year, but then in the Biden administration,
I apologize. You need penance? Okay. I pay my penance to the overlord. I apologize. We're cool now.
Did drop quite a bit.
Yeah,
so,
real wages.
Wages may have increased, but buying power decreased.
So that's what we're talking about with real wages, right? It has to be on par with the buying power. That's how we're adjusting for the real wage. So under Trump, real wages went up more than anybody else in, like, I think, of like 40 or 50 years.
I don't know where that's.
And so the thing is like, what's really interesting when you look at the data set for economics, like, no, people clearly know that their dollar wasn't going as far. And here's what they know. They know under Trump, I was doing better. Under Biden, I was doing worse. That's all you need. Like, you don't.
It's the economy, stupid. It's the economy. And a burp. That's the economy, stupid. No, what?
Need any more than that.
No, I do think it's fair to point out that COVID is anomalous, and the average person has no frame of reference for what a recovery should or should not be.
Mm-hmm. Which is what? The first fucking thing that came out of my mouth? The first fucking thing?
And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say? What happened when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
Being right.
All that really mattered when it came to the election was that people didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And
So-
listen,
so-
that's
so-
uncontested. I
Agreed.
don't dispute
Yeah.
that
Just
at
so you know-
all.
I don't know how to send this to you, but I would love to. I don't know. That is like the opposite of every single source I'm pulling up here that is seeing.
Okay, well, let's talk about what sources you're pulling up then. We have a very clear distinction. My sources say X, your sources say Y. Let's figure out which one's better, and then you can shut the fuck up with your bullshit.
I don't know. That is like the opposite of every single source I'm pulling up here that is seeing
Makes sense.
we've gotten back to inflation adjusted wages higher than they've.
We haven't. We haven't. We haven't. Are you not as broke as you were 3 years ago? What the fuck are you talking about?
Ever been.
I'm broke as
So
shit.
that being like the exact wonky, I think might be a.
But again, I just want to say I'm not contesting what the perception of the economy is. Where I do agree with Luke, though, is it seems like when you compare us to other nations, how we recover the soft land.
I don't care about other nations. That is nice. I am glad to know that America, the United States of America, did better than other countries. I am glad, but pardon fucking me to expect that out of America. Call me crazy. Call me a sycophant for America. But I think that's the standard, is that we do better than other third world countries.
Landing from the pandemic, the fact that we avoided a recession, jobs, not only the bounce back
Ethiopia was worse, so, go Biden.
jobs, but also the rate of jobs that increased per month under Biden were even higher than they were under Trump.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I don't
we
think
were
we're disputing
already
the fact
up
that
on
we
the-
did better than a lot of first world countries when it comes to our
No,
purchasing
Even
power, right?
G7,
Wealthy,
Myron,
wealthy,
respectfully, I mean, like even like
Only the
G7
wealthy, we're only
countries like
comparing to the
Japan.
wealthy.
Yeah, we do better than all of them. Yeah.
Oh, you said first world. I'm sorry, I thought you said third world.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no,
that's
first.
my
Dude,
bad.
we were already
Yeah,
I said third world, but, point stands.
on the
Agreed,
upward
yes.
trajectory
We agree with
under
you.
Trump
Yeah, because we're America, Jack.
before the
We're not
COVID
disputing you guys.
pandemic happened. All the numbers that most of the Democrats source, they sourced when the pandemic came in, the economy was shut down. Before
No,
that,
no.
the economy was skyrocketing. Yes, it was. And again, you can look at the real.
How could you possibly say? What source are you using to say that the economy was not soaring in 2019, pre-COVID? Show me anything. Mr. Corroborate it. Show me anything. You were just looking and saying, oh, my sources here. Pull them up. Let's fucking talk about them.
Real wages.
Well, I don't think he's
Pull up-
disputing that.
Wait,
Yeah, yeah.
I was saying we would never be like, let's compare Biden.
Yep. Same dude. Hey, we got Am in the building. Welcome to the party. This debate annoyed me. The one lip needs to close his mouth once in a while. No. Then what would we do for entertainment? Sometimes we want to, get into the weeds of things, and sometimes we just want to laugh at a little beta bitch. And for that, Luke is amazing. Luke is amazing at being a little beta bitch. Welcome to the party. Bugdeck said, Luke Beasley, my biased resources are more trustworthy than ChatGPT's aggregated resources, which they might, but show the fucking work, bro. Show the fucking work. Show me something, anything. All my sources are gay.
You can look at the real wages.
Well, I don't think he's
Pull up-
disputing that.
Wait,
Yeah, yeah.
I was saying we would never be like, let's compare Biden non-COVID to Trump COVID. Obviously, like when you look at end of Obama to Trump, a lot of times I'll do those comparisons because Trump just kind of inherited the economy that was.
No, Biden inherited Trump's
Um,
economy.
No,
That's what happened.
Disagree. Yeah.
During an economic crisis. But yeah, you could pull up metrics, and the one that you just pulled up again, I hope
You just tell me what it is.
Other
I
ones.
will Google the title.
This one's U.S. News and World Reports. The other one is
Just what's the title of the?
okay. Here, let
You
me.
can type it.
Yeah,
Google.
look, I don't think we're
Yeah.
disputing
Americans-
that like the U.S. was doing.
Excuse me, Mrs. B. Whoa. Ain't no fucking. I was trying to make a joke about how even a gay dude wouldn't even. I don't know, but it wasn't there. But Ms. Beasley works better for me.
Just what's the title of the?
Okay, here, let
You
me.
can type it.
Yeah,
Google.
look, I don't think we're
Yeah,
disputing with you
Americans-
that like the U.S. was doing better than a lot of other countries, like
I'll
when it
pop
comes to
up.
our purchasing power, etc.
Americans'
given the
inflation adjusted
circumstances.
incomes.
I hear you.
I don't think
Myron.
we're disputing. We're not
Pre-pandemic.
disputing that. Like I see you're making the argument that like, hey, Joe Biden's economy isn't as bad as
Double
MAGA
slash.
Republicans think it is. We can agree that we're better off than a lot of other countries. I mean, Japan is a great example where their yen just fucking tanked over the past.
We're
few
doing
years.
better than China. I
We're
mean,
doing better.
yeah.
I can. We're not disputing that.
I guess my point is,
I mean, TikTok be rocking, bro.
if Biden had done such terrible things,
Not in trade
like
surplus, though.
to spike in
What do you mean if Biden's done horrible shit?
inflation, because that was the big argument.
You mean like closing every business down except for Amazon and Walmart? How is not what?
No.
I guess my point is, if Biden had done such terrible things,
Not in trade
like,
surplus, though.
to spike inflation, because that was the big argument, right? Like Biden made bad, irresponsible decisions that
Like keeping things locked down, keeping the fucking PPP loans out there, giving people the check every fucking week for like what, $2,000 a week for every single person.
caused inflation to spike. That's the one I'm trying to get to the core of. Because if you agree, like, yeah, he kind of managed things fine, and you could say it was because of Trump, it was because whatever. But just
So, novel worldwide pandemic. Yeah, I mean, he handled it fine, but like, does that really matter? Yes. Yes, sir, it does. And said, you guys, I saw the scariest video today. I literally cried. This boy castrated himself, and it was elective. Not sure where people find these videos and then why they're posting online, but I am scarred. I would be too. I don't even want to think about that. That's, I mean, I feel bad for that kid, but,
I'm trying to get to the core of, because if you agree, like, yeah, he kind of managed things fine, and you could say it was because of Trump, it was because whatever, but just acknowledging we got out of it pretty dang well, and then you could.
But we did. That's the argument. No, we didn't. Do you remember the chart where it went like that? That's not good.
Attribute
That's the
whatever
argument.
to credit that for. That's a big difference from the mainstream right-wing message, which is that Biden messed things up.
Yeah, but the
Messed things up
problem,
economically.
so the problem here
Depends
is,
on in what regard did he mess things up. Like for me,
Yeah.
for example, foreign policy, he fucked up, right?
We're talking about
The
that.
conflict with Ukraine and Russia, that actually drove up the cost of food significantly. No one talks
Yeah,
about
I was gonna say he took the words right out of my mouth. Significantly.
the
talking about that.
conflict with Ukraine and Russia, that actually drove up the cost of food significantly. No one talks about that for obvious reasons, because Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. If you strain food in one area, it's going to strain resources in other areas, and the price goes up. So I find it interesting because Kamala campaigned on, oh yeah, I'm going to go after the grocery stores for price gouging, etc. But the Democrats created that problem with bad foreign policy, allowing conflict to happen, not keeping Russia in its place.
Yup. I said I'm hoping Timmy has 7-day beanies, like 7-day panties, or else his head stinks, and he should just shave his head and fuck a bitch. His head, well, I mean, you mean like clean shaven, because he's already bald. But like, I only have a couple of these. I just only wear them when I'm like, I'll put this on right before I come down, and I'll fling it off. I watch it like once every 2 weeks. I'm wearing it 3-4 hours at a time, and then we good. So maybe he just wears the beanies when he's on camera. I don't know. And said, if that was my son, I'd die. That's why I cried, I guess. I wish I could wash my memory sector in my brain so I could get it out of my head. So much for spoilers. Well, head over to Bellworks and they can sever you. Shout out to Severance. Guys, we are watching every episode of Severance as soon as I wake up on Fridays in the Discord. I agree. I think if anybody is in that realm, I mean, Homeboy went and got fucking, his hairline used to be here. Like, okay, side quest. Wait. I gotta use my thing. Gaines hair. Come on, baby. Come on, really gonna make me say before and after? Before. Jesus. All right, let me get it wrong. Okay, we had the old Myron, like the old Myron and the new Myron. That doesn't just happen. And these are older pictures. I'm trying to look for a good one. But like, yeah, okay, here we go. What do we got right at the top there? I missed it. Of course, it's tiny as hell. Like, bro, what are you doing? And now he looks like that. So, I mean, it's ballsy. I don't know. Did you guys see that? I don't know, but whatever. It's ballsy to go this direction. If you're going to go this direction, I'm going to let you know, I don't have balls like that. If I started looking like he was looking, we're shaving and becoming the Indian monk or some shit like that. I don't know. But yeah, generally, shave it off. Shout out to Big D and the Kids Table. If anybody out in the world gets that reference, you are now my best friend. amongst the nine said this is just the economic impact, let alone the psychological impact. How many deaths of despair or self-deletions happened in the last 4 years? Lots. I don't know the numbers, but yeah, I mean, what was I just? I don't know. There was something just that I was looking at on TikTok where it was somebody, saying exactly this. And it was from a year ago. I said, you have to be conscious of what you allow into your headspace, and the memory fades, but the knowledge never does. Well said. On the other side of that, though, it is. I used to be somebody like when like Facebook was first really becoming a thing where everybody was on social media, and you had the world star hip hop videos of fighting and stuff. I would always be like, why are you watching that stuff? Like, you're desensitizing yourself to it, whatever. And that stuff, I still agree. But in terms of like war and what's things that are going on in the world, to understand the level of depravity that exists, I don't know if you can care truly unless if you're just hearing stories. So either way, I get it. Because I would take whatever he's doing with his hair if I could afford it. I miss my hair. Well, it's just a transplant. I mean, how much? Okay, how much is a hair transplant? Why in Turkey? How much is a hair trans? $2,000 to fit. I mean, all right. So maybe you ain't gonna want to go with the $2,000 version, but I mean, somewhere in the middle, we call that $8,000. You can afford $8,000, but you don't need it, bro. You don't need it. You a sexy boy. All right, you a sexy boy. And so I've seen 3 scary videos this week, and I actually feel traumatized. I don't understand why people watch these types of things. It makes my heart race, and I get emotional. I never saw someone die before. Yikes. Yeah, I definitely, in terms of that, I'm with Arrow. Don't be, just searching it. But having an understanding of what is really happening in the world definitely can light a fire under your ass in terms of, doing whatever needs to be done in order to fix that stuff. So I feel you.
Democrats created that problem with bad foreign policy, allowing conflict to happen, not keeping Russia in its place. So, I think the issue here is, I see where you're saying, like,
is that why I said it? Okay, that makes sense. Because that was the first time I was like, why Turkey?
Hey, the economy wasn't as bad given the circumstances. Okay, I can see your perspective on that, but we also got to look at other things like foreign policy. We're talking about where conflicts absolutely play into the price of food, the price of goods,
energy prices.
For sure. On that point.
And what did Trump say when he was on the campaign trail? And some lady was like, how are you going to bring the groceries down? I know it's going to be a little bit boring, but energy. It's all about energy. Because it's all about energy.
The moment at which Joe Biden's favorability dropped below 50% was the Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Can we read, just since you pulled up, the inflation-adjusted median income of U.S. households rebounded last year to roughly its 2019 level, overcoming the biggest price spike in 4 decades to restore most Americans.
Okay, so since, other people need to understand what the fuck you're talking about, I will do your fucking job and read out loud. The inflation-adjusted median income of U.S. households rebounded last year as of I don't know where this is, but to roughly this is U.S. News to roughly its 2019 level, overcoming the biggest price spike in 4 decades to restore Americans' purchasing power. The proportion of Americans living in poverty also fell slightly last year to 11% from 11.5% in 2022. So when everything was closed down, just opening back up, the poverty level was at 11.1. And then it went to 11.5. Brilliant. Do I need to read any further?
Last year to roughly its 2019 level, overcoming the biggest price spike in 4 decades to restore most Americans' purchasing power. So just since we put that other one up on screen, I want to make sure we add that to it.
Yeah.
So somebody said it. Do they have any figures, any numbers, any charts, any way to corroborate it? Yeah, bro, you got it. You got a fucking wife. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with your bitching about shit. You got a fucking wife and kids. Some of us out here in the fucking streets. We out here in the fucking streets. Very true. Very true. Like I said, I love dogs, but I watch videos of big cats getting them. Am I okay, or should I be concerned? Well, as long as you're not trying to eat the dogs yourself, I think it's good. Well, I mean, maybe not good, but not bad.
Yeah, there's no way for me to dive
And as long as nobody's eating Morty.
into the details of these numbers.
Okay.
But
Just probably have to follow up.
but honestly, like both.
Somebody said a thing.
But I'm happy to
It's
reset
like-
this up if you guys want later for like a 1v1.
Well, let's get into foreign policy aspect of
Yeah.
this. So Joe Biden's favorability, his approval rating, it dropped because of Afghanistan. And during Trump, we had the end of ISIS, we had the Abraham Accords, we had attempts at peace agreements during the
Still
Biden-
had the Afghanistan war.
certainly did. And it was during Trump's administration, the negotiated withdrawal took place. So you can argue both.
Why liberals screamed about it.
Well, you can argue both administrations were involved to some degree, to whatever degree you want to argue. My point is, Biden administration has been marked by war and conflict and crisis.
I think a lot of either the two main ones.
I can't. That's all I hear. That's all I fucking hear. And I know I could go to a fucking high pitch when I get triggered or whatever. But like,
Being Gaza and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, I think deserve two separate discussions.
Do they
The
though?
Russia one,
Do they know? Why is that?
I'm not compelled at all by the Trump-initiated peace because we've seen sort of
No.
trajectory of Putin's activity that.
So if Putin says it from his mouth, man, I don't know. We can't trust it. But some random reporter from wherever that just says a thing, we got it. When Zuckerberg, from his own fucking face, talks about the Biden administration, that's not even evidence. Okay.
Of course, he would wait to see how much Trump could damage our international alliances and see the worst of what he could do before invading, and the pandemic hits, and maybe that delays. I think there was an
What? Was he just trying to establish that Trump had bad relationships abroad?
activity initiated peace because we've seen sort of trajectory of Putin's activity that.
Yeah, he didn't do shit when Trump was there. He did shit when Biden was there. And as soon as Trump was coming back in, he stopped. That's what I saw.
Of course, he would wait to see how much Trump could damage our international alliances.
Maybe I'm retarded. But how exactly did Trump damage any relationship with any international allies? Unless we're talking about the Paris Accord or all the shit where they were just taking us for a ride. Is that what he's talking about?
And see the worst of what he could do before invading, and the pandemic hits, and maybe that delays. I think there was an inevitability to at some point him going for Ukraine. So what I care about the most with Biden's response was, is he going to be very supportive? Because I do believe being really supportive of Ukraine is in our interest.
Based on what?
Yeah.
What do you
right?
think?
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was going to say. What could you possibly think helps America by being in Ukraine? What?
So do you saying, oh, it was just inevitable? Like it was inevitable.
Thank you. I needed that reassurance.
He was gonna. No, that's not inevitable. Like,
No, I agree. It's
Where
not-
you?
I said
Hang
neither
on.
inevitable.
Where are you even coming up with it? So what you did is you just grant yourself the starting position. It was
I don't understand why
inevitable
you're so aggravated.
that eventually
Let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Russia's going to attack Ukraine. It's like,
Well,
no, that's not inevitable.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes on this one.
I'm saying,
which is
watching the last
why
couple decades play out,
why should we be involved in Ukraine? You said it's in our interest.
like I don't think we should get directly militarily involved with Russia.
Avoid a
launching
hot war. We're
full-scale
all in
war.
all in favor
Yeah.
of that. Avoid a hot war with
Avoiding
Russia.
that. But in terms of how
You laugh about that as if sending, like, there's not a hot war that we are funding. It's different. Oh, hot war. It is a hot war. It's just not Americans fighting. Are they lesser people to you? Maybe. Genuine question.
how much we spend to be geopolitically, militarily competitive and prepared national security wise against Russia. Generally, we're spending trillions and trillions and trillions over the course of decades
Stop talking like a girl.
for that purpose. This is a much more direct way to send what is relatively a small amount of money compared to what we're normally spending on the same cause to oppose the aggression of Russia that I think is destabilizing to the world.
Can't argue with that. Luke is a contrarian to logic itself. Logic in general.
Okay, but you do realize when you guys say we don't want a hot war in Russia, that if you're trading and supporting and funding the enemy of Russia that they're in a war with, that drastically increases the chances that you get attacked by that nation trying to cut off the supply, the endless supply of funding to the nation they're fighting with. That's just common war doctrine. Of course, that increases the chances of a hot war. Okay, it's silly. The containment method is not good. And ultimately, Russia is going to beat.
Does
the
appeasement
Ukraine.
work though? Like, because to me, it's like they're two major camps, right? You say containment, the other one appeasement. Do you think appeasement works?
I think that ultimately in this case, what's going to happen is this. Russia is going to take their objective. They're going to get a large portion of the Ukraine, not all of it, but they're going to get a large portion.
Already control almost all.
Yeah,
of
the
eastern
chances
Ukraine.
that they don't is.
And what is the argument as to why I personally should care? I have yet to hear an argument as to why I should specifically care about Ukraine going back to Russia, where it already was. And from what I understand, a lot of people in Ukraine, I mean, who knows what the fuck information comes from wars. I don't understand how people feel confident about information that comes from wars that are currently happening. But let's put that to the side. How does it help me? How does it help my countrymen?
Is not good. And our generals predict it themselves, at least Donbass region, right?
Can you clarify just real quick? Do you think it will be because Trump forces a settlement like that, where he freezes things, like, or do you think that even if Trump doesn't intervene?
No.
Yeah.
Intervention at this point would actually probably be better to negotiate this settlement rather than the lives continue to get lost until Russia gets it anyway. Now, if the Ukraine wants to fight to the last, there's not much anybody can do about it. But Zelensky has, I think, somewhat signaled that he's ready for some kind of ceasefire, and because they're running out of troops.
I was just going to say, because they're running out of money.
This is the problem. They're running out of troops.
They're already using the ruble in Eastern Ukraine.
I mean,
like,
they're drafting.
It's done. It's
they're
cooked.
drafting 60-year-olds now. I mean, they're gonna run out of soldiers
and women.
Yeah, and women. So but they can't send them to the front line because they just get killed. Or
don't tell Pete Hexen
or any. But anyway,
shout out to Pete Hexen. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so we're obviously not going to finish this. I do kind of want to see where the rest of this Ukraine stuff goes, but hey, you guys know the rules.
That's my
the point is like they're going to take this region no matter what. This is going to happen. This, though, when you talk about containment of what's that?
Aren't you saying there's an inevitability to Putin wanting that land, like I said?
No, I'm saying that once he invaded, it's inevitable he wins it. Not that it was inevitable he would invade.
I don't know. I mean, I agree that if
I will eat my words right now if he has anything of substance to say. I don't know about Putin's fucking mindset. What? Who the fuck is you?
It's inevitable he wins it. Not that it was inevitable he would invade.
I don't know.
Well, let's see him blow me away.
I mean, I agree
blow me
that
away.
if Ukraine were to say, all right, we're not in it for this, we don't want it, then I'm not saying push them to keep going. But as long as they're saying we're going to fight, I'd rather them have a better shot to do more damage than the war goes on, but they're just getting.
So you mean when Zelensky, the guy who fucking LARPs as an actual military person, is flying over here and hanging out with Biden, if they have the what is it, the will, he said, the will,
their shot to keep going, and were to say, all right, we're not in it for this, we don't want it, then I'm not saying push them to keep going.
So you think the soldiers like, yeah, we gotta fucking get all all these 60-year-olds and all these women, we gotta.
What? Stupid.
But as long as they're saying we're gonna fight, I'd rather them have a
better hope the party rages long enough,
better shot to do more damage than the war goes on, but they're just getting crushed more.
Yeah, but the reason why they say
remember
that
that's a
bloodthirsty support them. It's like it's the same thing with Israel. Like the reason why they act the way that they do is because they know that we're going to give them money.
Zelensky
so if we had told them no more aid, it would force them.
Yeah, what do you think Zelensky's going to do? Go ahead and be like, "Oh, we're about to surrender." That would be terrible rhetoric. Of course not.
No, I understand, but I'm saying
you don't understand because everything you just said doesn't make sense with what was just said. What do you mean? If you understood, then you wouldn't have said what you just said.
That in the beginning of this, there was also the belief that there was inevitability to like 2 weeks or a month or whatever, all of Ukraine's done. And we've seen that hasn't been the case.
That is true. Like my and again, on my channel, I talk like U.S. domestic politics. So maybe I'm missing something. But my understanding was
maybe he's missing something. Hey, shout out to Guam Tech. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Feed the over. Come on, you lazy bitch. There you go. Feeding the overlord and the party rages on.
and again, on my channel, I talk like U.S. domestic politics. So maybe I'm missing something.
I mean, so do I, but I don't think that Ukraine just wants to fight so hard. And I would probably say that foreign policy and wars and stuff, that's probably my dumbest area. And yet you do this.
True. Like and again, on my channel, I talk like U.S. domestic politics. So maybe I'm missing something. But my understanding was during the initial invasion, everyone from far right experts to I believe Hassan Piker was like, this is going to be over in like a week.
Yeah, there was.
Oh yeah, because like it's like a JDAM, bro. Like that's totally a JDAM.
The only reason it didn't get is because of the enormous amount of aid and money and how literally the only reason Ukraine hasn't been taken is because of us. Like
That's
it's
true.
the
But
only,
I don't think
they would have been taken in a few days. And like Putin is being nice about it. He could have just airstriked them to fucking
Yeah, but what I
oblivion,
want
he
to know
didn't.
is this: what do we get from our riches, and are we sacrificing lives in vain for our?
Damn, I can't find that clip. I can't find the clip where he's just sitting there watching some random Hassan's just watching some random ass video, and you just oh, that's definitely a JDAM, bro. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Why are you pretending like you know things like that? I'm just gonna say the funniest part of the Ukraine war was Zelensky telling the transes, "You're a biological man. Go suit up." Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's funny. You don't know, but he doesn't really care. That's how to be an effective leftist. I said, well, I was a suburbanite in Kensington. It was at the San Diego Zoo for the protection of showbiz animals. Ted and Derby. In South Africa, it's routine for petting zoos to have cheetahs for children. What? God damn. Well, I'm keep my kids away from South Africa then. That's what JDM sounds like, bro. Like, don't you know? Don't you know? Come on, bro.
What I want to know is this: what do we get from our riches, and are we sacrificing lives in vain for our riches?
Nothing and yes.
That's what I want to know. And so the answer to this is like, you don't know, and you don't know.
Good point.
And so the thing is like, if it is the case that all of our generals project the chances that this region is going to go to Russia anyway, and we can save thousands or tens of thousands of lives
and a shit ton of money
in this conflict, it seems wiser to me to just back away from funding this whole nightmare.
And the mainstream media did everything to not tell Americans the truth that they were losing. This is why, like, you look at like someone like people that were reporting, right?
Remember the Nazis? The what do they call them? The Asimov? Is that a thing? I'm somewhere in there, right? We're funding Nazis.
That we're saying, look, Russia's going to win this, like Gonzalo Lira or Jackson Hinkle, etc. They're getting banned, censored, etc. It's not till years later the news is finally coming out. Yeah, you know what? We kind of were losing. We're losing.
Yeah,
they did kill Lira.
Yeah, Lira was killed.
Yeah, he got killed. But like when he had his YouTube channel and he was putting out this information, he was shadow banned. Jackson Hinkle banned him, and they're like, "Oh, these guys are just Russian propagandists." Well, they're kind of telling the truth when it comes to this conflict. Russia is winning.
No.
Then it took years for the mainstream media to say, "You know what? Yeah, they are kind of winning. We should probably maybe have a ceasefire."
No,
like, it took years for the American public to figure it out.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad because Soil the Soul was a reason that I added that sound. And she's like, oh, I love it. I mean, I don't know where she's been. She just dipped out. That's for her. For you. I know you're still out there, Soil.
The guys we're talking about, they kept falsely predicting it's going to be over here and then here and then here. And they kept being wrong.
But they were correct.
Which is why maybe we shouldn't give them shit tons of money.
Way better.
But they were correct that Russia was decimating
people
them. They were correct about that.
Russia.
But that's important. That's relevant to American sentiment to fund the war.
Is being
wasn't Russia's military pretty fucked up as a
look at how many people are dying.
I mean, she's still in the server. I hit her up. I mean, you know, that ain't my place. Like, you doing what you do. But you guys hit her up. See what she comes around every once in a while. But I think Someone, I forgot. She said something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she didn't just like say "fuck yeah" and dip out. It was something real. I don't know, but Funkmaster General said the real losers in that war are the North Koreans. They had no idea what they were sent to do. It's pathetic and kind of sad. Well, I'm going to have to hear about this in the after party because I do not know what you're talking about, and I would like to. Hey, shout out to Right Click. Welcome to the party. So that Luke kid looks and acts like we were born yesterday. That's a very good point. Because when I saw it here, I'll be looking quick and trying to keep up with everything. I thought you were going to say that he looks and acts like he was born yesterday, which also would fit. But you're right. And I think that's another, we were talking about John and Kruger before. I think that is a good part of it. Oh, so you were saying, okay. But hey, it works either way. Either way, you are right, sir. Welcome to the party. Because I'm sure she's been busy. I think it was I seem to remember her schedule changed or something like that. But we love you, Soil. If you're watching the replay, let us know. We miss you. Pop in and say hello or whatever.
To fund the war.
Wasn't Russia's
far more
military pretty fucked up as a
look at how many people are dying in the Russian military, which is tragic. But how much their military is losing as well.
But my
Oh, I almost choked. Oh my! But the Russians! Oh no, the Russians! Oh no! I thought you were just talking about how bad Putin was, and now it's so awful that the Russians are dying. Like, fucking pick a side. Pick a side. I'm like, just imagine if Luke tried BJJ. Would he go full Zuck? Doubt it. Not even BJJ could clear that much soy. I don't know. I mean, you would know better than me. I want to hope. I want to hope that there is a world. Because, hey, I was pretty pathetic. I'm still fucking puny as shit. But, like, at 22, I wasn't on Timcast. I didn't have my own channel talking shit like that. But, just saying. Funkmaster General said it's not all bad, guys. It's not all bad. They did get to see porn for the first time. Hey. And over here, you got to put your ID in. Not here, but not here in Jersey, but in some states. I don't know, so I don't mean to be vulgar, but Lutch, how have you not had to urinate? Maybe I did, and you didn't even notice. I don't know. I mean, if I'm like, there's one reason why I turn my camera off and continue talking. There's one reason.
Military, which is tragic. But how much their military?
I'm just like Kim Jong-un.
Is losing as well.
But my point is,
all for them just take that much.
I mean, that's what Russia's been doing.
I think Russia won already.
Russia did. I mean, they held the Germans with 1 million peasants. They don't care. They'll continue to throw soldiers into the meat grinder until they get their objective. They don't care.
Famously, Russia's strategy is referred to as the Zap Brannigan strategy, where he sends wave after wave of his own men.
Yeah.
Well, if we hit the swole goal, you would know for sure.
Exactly. Until the enemy runs out of ammo.
When they first
like
invaded,
literally.
But they're not yet. We're 20% of ammo.
When they first invaded in early 2022, I remember watching Gonzalo talk about this. He was like, "Yeah, they're gonna win, etc. They're winning," and he was getting shadow banned. The American media wasn't reporting it because they didn't want the American public to know that, look, we're funding this war and we're fucking losing. It took years for the American public to finally figure out they're losing.
I'm willing to have a nuanced conversation about how long we should be willing to do that.
So close.
Is how inevitable is it? But that point's not true at all. The overwhelming mainstream media consensus was that if Russia invades, it's all over. And then it was like, whoa, Ukraine now years they've
but they were holding
based on if Russia invades, it's over. If we don't fund them, you fucking moron.
Back the figures and not being honest about them losing.
Ukraine lost.
I mean, they didn't, but
they did. Do you see the map in front of you?
Look at how much of Ukraine is not taken.
Look at all that. Look at all that non-red Ukraine.
The objective wasn't to take Ukraine. No, That was
So if he showed a map of the United States and the entire East Coast seaboard, Texas and California were all taken up, occupied by a foreign nation, it'd be like, well, look how much America there is.
But
Back the figures and not being honest about them losing.
Ukraine lost.
I mean, they didn't, but
they did. Do you see the map?
We talk about this guy down here. That is Myron Gaines from the Fresh and Fit podcast, who's so cool because he can out debate OF girls. Yeah, he's the king red pill monster dude.
Being honest about them losing.
Ukraine lost.
I mean, they didn't, but
they did. Do you see the map in front of you?
Look at how much of Ukraine is not taken.
Look at all that non-red Ukraine.
The objective wasn't to take Ukraine. No, that wasn't
Right.
What was Russia's stated objective?
So if all they're interested in is the eastern portion,
It's the land bridge to Crimea.
they've been
They've
there.
taken it.
They've taken it.
Right.
So
We're not what? Of
That was
course,
their purpose.
Of course,
that was the
I'm
purpose. They
shocked. it
protect
took
the
this
ethnic
long.
Russians.
The Russian objective was attained a couple years ago.
Did he just say, of course, I'm shocked it took this long? Then why the fuck would you want to fund the other side?
Well, of
That was
course,
their purpose.
Of course,
That was the
I'm
purpose. They
shocked. it
protect
took
the
this
ethnic
long.
Russians.
The Russian objective was attained
I mean, I personally wouldn't mind, but I think YouTube would.
a couple years ago.
I don't know how
why is
that
there
at
still
all
fighting?
relates to what we're saying.
Again,
Because they get
Right, correct. You have no idea how anything that we're saying relates to anything. You're retarded. We've established that fact. Thank you for admitting it, Luke.
Was attained a couple years ago.
I
Why-
don't know how
why is
that
there
at
still
all
fighting?
relates to what we're saying.
Again,
because they can
Because
take
they-
more.
Yet I'm going to be smug and be an asshole and act like I know more than you.
wait. Why is there still fighting if they achieve
Because
their objective?
Ukraine wants the land.
Right, and as long
Right,
as they
there-
do,
and the US
we
is
just have to
providing
get
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That then you can't.
So like if oh my god, I can't. Why are they still fighting? If they wanted to take over Texas and they took over Texas, then why is America still fighting? Oh, honey, sweetie, baby. I'm so mad, bro. That episode came up and I was like, you know what? I'll remember which episode it is when I wake up. I don't remember which episode it was. Wait, did I mark that down? Maybe I did. I haven't gone back to look. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Where is it? So I was like, I want the actual clip. Yes, I did. Season 8, episode 14. There we go. Oh, honey, sweetie, baby. Let's go. So I don't ask me why I know this, but they've been beefing. Because apparently, from what I hear, there's a bunch of bullshit that I don't know. One of them, I don't know. They've been beefing. I don't really care. Yep. That is a How I Met Your Mother thing. Oh, honey, sweetie, baby.
Because Ukraine wants the land.
Right, and as long as they
and the
do,
US
we
is
just have to
providing
Yeah,
funds.
but that's what I'm saying. That then you can't. I
really
take your
does.
point that they have the land seizures that they saw.
Yeah, this is Sicily right here.
But it's clearly not secure. There's a reason the conflict's still going on. Russia is suffering casualties
So
from
let's clarify.
from
Russia.
So, okay, let's put this in super simple fucking terms. Let's pretend instead of a war, they were playing football. So if they're on their own 5-yard line and they're down by 14 points, they are losing the game. To ask why are they still trying to get points? It's because the game's not over yet. Why is the game not over yet? There's certain time on the clock in a football game. Does it work the same way in war? Of course not. You fight as long as you can and then you die. How can you fight so long? I'm surprised it took this long, says Luke Beasley, after voting to continue the fucking war. What are we doing? Right Click said, I often don't watch these culture war debates. It just feels like I'm watching a retarded person get beat up, and I'm all the dumber for it afterwards. I can't argue with that, but hey, it's Friday and we having fun, baby.
Ukrainian resistance.
Yes, Russia has secured its objective and is now seeking to defend its position.
I still don't know if like secure, because again,
But
it doesn't seem particularly secure. But like,
No.
What do you mean? It's a map with colors on it. What do you mean it doesn't seem secure? Did you go there? What What could you possibly see on a map that would tell you whether it is or is not secure?
I still don't know if like secure, because again, it doesn't seem particularly secure, but like
no. This map shows that.
Look at these fucking faces. They're like, what in the fuck are we doing? This is exactly how Right Click is sitting in his chair. Like, why is this fucking happening?
Russia has taken control of the Donbass region.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're saying, look, it's
a challenge. He said, you won't come through to the after party and say it to my face.
To care if they're still fighting a war of it.
But I'm a little bitch who won't show my face. So my avatar.
It's a fair point.
What I mean to say is they are in control of this territory as per the battle maps that are presented by the BBC and by Arcus.
No, we agree with that.
And so, of course, if the U.S. wasn't supporting Ukraine, the war would be over.
Yes,
that I disagree with.
Well, I mean, they would still be resisting, but I think the resistance would be based on my limited understanding. Very minuscule in comparison.
Yeah, they don't have the weapon.
They wouldn't be able to do anything. You know what I mean?
But they would. I think they're also receiving. Aren't they receiving even more from European allies?
Yeah.
Again, this.
Maybe they wouldn't if they didn't have enough money to be like, hey, we're almost there. If you just give us a little bit, America's got our whole fucking bankroll. I don't understand how you could be this dumb. I feel like I'm very dumb and not super well read on especially foreign policy things, and like our boy here, I like to stick with domestic American topics. But I'm not going to pretend to know shit that I don't. It's amazing that you could get this far in this area, being that bad at all of the things that you need to be able to do to be good in this area. I am left speechless. And so going back to our original poll, will the left be less insane over the next 4 years compared to the 2016-2020? I don't think they're going to be any less insane. I think you guys voted for same amount of insane, but for different things. I'm right there with you. Before we head out, I want to give a shout out to our boy Kelly Green, who is definitely going to come through the after party. So dumb people are people too. I love dumb people. I just don't like them all the time. Fair enough. I cannot argue with that. But yikes! I mean, when you get this dumb, then when you get,
but they did understand.
They would U.S.
Oh God damn it! When you get that dumb,
still be
resisting Ukraine, the war would be over.
Yes,
that I disagree with.
Well, I mean, they would
or this dumb. Then you got problems. You got problems. Guys, thank you so very, very much for hanging out. Big shout out to Carl and Dixon and Carl and Arrow, our sponsor, along with Funk Master General. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, to cut the party raging on. And I'm glad we got to see that part. Truth be the game. You have a fantastic night. I didn't know you were there the whole time. I was, should have been chatting with us. But thank you so much for hanging out. Anybody on Rumble, anybody but on X, you guys have a fantastic night, and make sure you join the Discord, guys. Again, it is absolutely free to join, and if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, or if you don't want to be a member but you still want to, if you don't want to be a YouTube member but you'd still like the after party access, just join the Discord, send me a DM, we'll figure something out. All right, thank you guys so very, very much. I really do appreciate you hanging out. I know that you could be doing anything else in the whole world, but you chose to hang out with me, and that means so much. Guys, I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and it's going to be fun, guys. Until next time, guys, that is the Overlord, a.k.a. Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.